And what happens to your body when your body becomes cold. However, also shit.
Good evening, everyone. We'll get started in a few minutes. All right. Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, thank you all so much for your flexibility tonight in moving to completely online. Um, for those who are not part of the community board, the reason we decided to go online is because of the snowstorm that just passed. When we have a state of emergency come down from the governor's office, we're able to switch to an online forum, and just for everyone's safety, we decided to do that for this evening's meeting. I believe we have quorum, but Liz or Alexis will check me on that. And while they're doing that, I think we could just get started with the routine portions of our meetings.
We can't hear you.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your flexibility tonight. I know that, moving to Zoom last minute isn't necessarily easy. But for those who are not part of the board, we decided to move to Zoom tonight mainly because of the snowstorm that occurred over the weekend. There was a state of emergency put in place by the governor's office, and that state of emergency does allow us to move entirely to Zoom. And so we did that for everyone's safety tonight. On your screen, you can see the norms that we normally provide at all of our meetings. We certainly don't have to go through each of them, but these norms apply in Zoom as much as they would online. I do believe we have quorum already, and Liz or I see Alexis's thumbs up. Great. Thanks, Alexis. All right, moving on. So to sign up for the public session, I saw Leo put this information in the chat. Please do sign up using the Q&A function. If you can't see it on your immediate screen in the toolbar, you can click More. You should be able to see it there. We will keep signups open till 7 p.m. So if you do not sign up by that time, we will not be able to hear you this evening. Once that closes, we usually move on to the public session sometime around 7:30, and you'll be called by our first vice chairperson, Leo Jimenez, when that time comes. And then a reminder for participants. So for CB12 members, we are required by law and our bylaws to have our cameras on continuously. Obviously, that's within reason. If you need to step away, feel free to turn your camera off. But for the duration of the meeting, you are expected to keep your camera on. You're also expected to display your full name, so the public has a right to know who you are. So if you're currently not using your full name, please do click the ellipses next to the little box that your name appears in. Click display name and then change your display name accordingly. All right. So this is tonight's proposed agenda. I'm sure many of you have noticed. Oh, Liz, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, why is Wayne's name not on the roll call?
Which roll call? Is this
The
a
roll-
document that?
This is the document that we got from the office. Wayne's name isn't on it. Alexis, you might want to edit that to add that.
I already did. He's on mine.
Oh,
Okay, perfect.
He's on the sheet that I shared. Yeah, he's on mine.
okay, cool.
Great teamwork, thanks. So on the screen, we have the proposed agenda for the night. I think for most of you, you'll recognize that there are some differences. The routine stuff still occurs at the top. We'll go through the chair's report. Soon we'll be joined by our borough president if he hasn't joined us already, and he'll give a small introduction at some point, well, right after the chair's report. After the borough president speaks, we're going to move into the public session. Again, that should take place hopefully sometime around 7:15, 7:30, but we do give everybody the opportunity to sign up at least until 7 p.m. After the public session, we'll go through committee reports. So committee reports, we are doing slightly differently. Of course, now it appears a little further up on the agenda just based on some feedback that we've received. We're also going to give every committee the opportunity to speak, even if they're presenting a resolution or more than one resolution tonight. The reason for that is because we want the committees to be able to talk about all the other work that they've done. Sometimes that's not just limited to the resolutions that they're presenting. And so they'll each get 3 minutes to speak before us about what updates they have from their committees. After the committee reports, we'll go into elected officials reports. That'll be followed by items for a vote where we go through the roll call, and then old business, new business, and our adjournment. So with that, since we do have quorum, if I can get a motion to adopt tonight's agenda. Well, actually, first, I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's 6:38, calling the meeting to order. Leo, you motion. Do I have someone who seconds adoption of the agenda?
I'll second it.
Great, thanks, Crystal. Any objections to tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we will move on to adoption of the December 2025 minutes. These were posted in Airtable very promptly after Alexis provided them. Thank you, Alexis. Do I have a motion for adopting the December 2025 minutes?
Motion.
Thanks, Robin. Anyone for seconded?
Second.
I think I saw Noemi Diaz. Thank you so much. Any objections with adopting the minutes? Great, seeing none, we will move forward with the chair's report. So there are a couple of things I want to chat about tonight. I think the first thing is just what I've been doing over the last 27 days since becoming chair of Community Board 12, starting with outreach. So you've probably seen this word a lot in my emails. I've been chatting with some of you one-on-one about things that we have done or are going to do to improve our outreach. So we have updated our website broadly. You'll notice now that there have been updates across all of the different pages to include new resources. We also have a newsroom page now too, and there the purpose is to publish press releases about whatever it is that we're doing. And so when we have a special guest at one of our meetings or we pass a resolution of consequence, like we may be doing tonight, we'll publish a press release on our website. Now that press release will also get distributed to local news outlets directly, as well as our elected officials and their offices, so they can see exactly what it is Community Board 12 is doing month to month. The purpose of the newsroom will also be to include some highlights happening in the community. So one example of a story that we published there occurred late last month, where we had an Inwood resident who was shopping, dropped a couple $100, and a couple $100 was going to be used for that person's rent. While her neighbors came together and were able to provide them with the difference, and we really want to value that kind of neighborly experience. And so that's an example of a story that we did publish there, and we hope to keep receiving those types of stories so we can continue publishing them. We also established a special committee, the Outreach Committee, which I circulated the mandate to. This is born out of an idea actually from our first vice chairperson, Leo. Thanks again. And the purpose of this committee really is to look at where our gaps are and to provide recommendations throughout the year of how we can improve our outreach efforts. We started using Link NYC tablets across the district. So moving forward now, this is going to be a great tool for us to promote our meetings. And we do now have a dedicated LinkedIn page. So for those of you who use LinkedIn, feel free to connect your profile to the Community Board 12 LinkedIn page. And finally, we are going through a process for searching for a social media consultant. This is something I talked about last month. We do have funds set aside for this purpose. We're going to do a little bit more proactive outreach and looking for a potential person to help us with our social media. But we definitely want to improve on using Instagram and Facebook and all the other ones that are out there. On governance, so this is also a word you've probably heard me use a lot. But the idea here is to publish, not just documents that could be useful for members, but also documents that could be useful for the public. So one example is on January 31st on our website, there will be 4 new licensing manuals. Purpose of these are for those who are applying maybe for a liquor license or a livery license through TLC, a cannabis license, to be able to see what exactly it is when they're coming to Community Board 12, we expect to see. What are the documents we expect to be submitted, by what time, and then when they come to our committee, what they should expect the general candor of those meetings to be. Now, of course, all of our members have the freedom to ask any kind of question they want, but of course we've seen themes, and so this includes some of those themes as well. We also now have a member attendance policy. Now, in this member attendance policy, generally there isn't anything new. It is sort of a reframing of what's already required of all of us through the bylaws. And so I shared this over email. This will be available on our website soon. Please do take a look because we are going to be enforcing this pretty strictly to make sure that no one is being given any kind of special treatment. And then finally, there's a chair and vice chair manual. This is a document that our previous chair started, Kathy Diaz, and we're taking it and publishing it now so that our chairs and vice chairs are aware of what's expected of them as they run their meetings, as they run their committees. And then just other general info. So committee assignments have been updated to reflect the needs of the committee. This is something that I circulated with the entire board. Please do check that email I sent late last week to see if you have any changes to your committee assignments. None of them should be a surprise. I've been emailing each of the people who've been affected by the changes, but feel free to reach out if you have any questions. We also appointed 4 new public members, one of whom is actually an outgoing member, Bruce Robertson. Tonight is his last meeting as an appointed member of the board. We thank him so much for his service, but he will remain on as a public member of Traffic and Transportation, so you can still see Bruce in that meeting. The annual member survey has been distributed, and this will stay open until April 30th. For those of you who've already submitted your responses, thank you so much, but you have a lot more time to submit if you haven't done so already. And just last on this slide, we are going to meet next month in Inwood. On Thursday, Paola and I are going to Campbell Sports Center. We have already booked the room for February 24th. We're going to do a walkthrough just to confirm it meets our needs, but for the first time in I think a long time, we're going to be meeting in Inwood. We're bringing Community Board 12 to the Inwood neighborhood. So those of you in the lower part of the district, get ready. You're going to have to travel a little further up next month. A couple of other points. So again, thanks to Leo, we're going to have a ton in terms of recruitment efforts. So the borough president's application has opened to apply for community boards, and that will remain open until February 27th. So from now until then, we're gonna try and have a couple of events. We also ask that you spread the word if you know someone who is a good candidate to serve on Community Board 12. Two other notes. First, and I think perhaps maybe the borough president's office will speak about it too, but in light of the temperature outside, the city has taken some initiative to try and provide centers for warming. One way they're doing that is by providing a warming bus in certain parts of the city, and we are getting one in Inwood outside of the 207th Street subway station. It's open from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So if you know anyone who is in need of a warming center, please do direct them to that area. And with that, I see Mary, you have a question?
I have a comment. The sports center up at Columbia. We've had meetings there before. The problem is the accessibility to get in. There's a lower place where, there's an elevator, but that door had been consistently locked, and we had to go through a whole routine to be able to get somebody to unlock that door and show us the way to the elevator and help people, navigate that elevator. It's not something that's readily available.
Thank you for that. We will note that in the walkthrough that we have on Thursday morning. We ask any venue that we're going to work with to fill out a questionnaire. They did state on the questionnaire that it's accessible, and so we'll ask them to show us how it's accessible, and we'll make sure that that's available if we do use this venue next month without any.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is accessible if the door is open to get in there to the elevator. But,
Yep,
it's not,
and we will,
not something that's open all the time.
For sure, and we will emphasize that need at our walkthrough and by email as well. Thanks, Mary. Steve, you have a question? Steve?
Well, again, I want to congratulate you on getting our meetings listed on those Link NYC kiosks. We've been talking about doing that for years, and I was pleasantly surprised when I came upon one of them recently. Kudos to you for doing that.
Great. Thank you so much. And you'll continue to see that. Thank you. All right.
Will we be able to have the subject of the meetings listed as well as just the name of the committee?
So the way it works, that template, that sort of pink red template, is the template that they provide to community boards for free usage. Now, if we wanted to go beyond what's fittable or can fit in that template, then there's a world where we may have to pay for it. We've been having discussions that perhaps for maybe some public hearings, if we want to provide a little bit more detail, we could look at whether we have the budget to serve beyond that template. But the template really only allows the name of the committee, that it's Community Board 12, location, time, and then a link to a website, and it has to be a short link.
All right, maybe we can discuss that at the executive, because I think it would be a good idea to give people a little more information about what the meeting is about.
Great. Thanks, Steve. Any other questions before I wrap my chair's report?
Chair, we have a question from Mr. Figueroa. He's wondering if you got his right email address because he hasn't gotten any emails. So I'll send him your email just in case.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I don't know if the borough president has yet joined us. So I think with that, what we can do, just because it's not yet 7 p.m., let's go ahead and start some of the committee reports. And we'll go in order that it is presented on the agenda. So if business development wants to begin, if you have a report that you want to give Radia, feel free to take the next 3 minutes. You're on mute.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everyone is safe, warm, and cozy somewhere. I really don't have a report, just a quick update. We had a great meeting in January. We had the business development manager for Workforce One that is located on 181st Street come and speak about the importance of having local businesses hire local talent. We'll be working with him to help him expand his reach for local hiring. If anyone has any ideas or any businesses that they would like to link up with Workforce One, please let me know. Thank you.
Great, Radia. Thank you so much. All right, that takes us to Mary Anderson for Concerns of the Aging. If you have a report you'd like to give.
I just wanted to encourage everyone to read the minutes from our last meeting. We had a wonderful presentation from Carolyn Stern from the Committee for Hearing and Communication. Erwin took wonderful minutes, and if anyone is interested after reading the minutes to get a copy of the PowerPoint, to let me know so that I can send it to you. Thank you. And Happy New Year, everybody.
Thanks so much. Takes us now to Steve Simon from Health and Environment.
Thank you. Well, the first thing, of course, is that we still have we're still in our community affected by what is probably the longest and largest nurses strike in New York City history. It affects the New York Presbyterian facilities in Washington Heights and Inwood. It does not affect any of the other 9 New York Presbyterian facilities in the New York City region, only the ones in our community, which are where the nurses are represented by the New York State Nurses Association. So we did get word over the weekend that they did finally reach agreement on at least one point concerning the nurse healthcare benefit. Excuse me? Okay.
Go ahead. Someone was unmuted. Thank you.
But there are still a number of outstanding issues involving safe staffing levels, job security, workplace violence protections, AI issues, and wages. So there's who knows how much longer this will go on. I hope I hope both parties are locked in a room and are told to negotiate 24 hours at a time in order to try to reach an agreement as quickly as possible. I think that would be in everyone's best interest. At our meeting, we got a report from the hospital about the flu cases, 1,924 flu cases in the NYP system. So if you haven't gotten your flu vaccine, you should do so. Flu is still an issue. There were 42 COVID cases, so COVID is still an issue, certainly not to the extent that it has been in the past. We questioned the hospital about whether or not it was going to change its policy on vaccinations in wake of the new recommendations that came out of the Trump administration, the Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention, and from our how do I characterize? I won't characterize them. Our Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And fortunately, the hospital is not making it to any change and is going to continue recommending the full slate of vaccinations to its patients. We've also been questioning Columbia University separately about the impact of the federal budget cuts on the research that takes place at the medical center campus. The medical center relies to a great extent on support from the federal government for its research. It has received actually a 4% cut. It used to get $526 million a year. In this fiscal year, it's getting $503 million. And many of the cuts are in environmental research and in projects related to DEI, which this government is opposed to. But what we also have to take a look at here is that the university ended up losing like $200 million when the Trump administration threatened to cut $400 million from its research budget, and then imposed a $200 million penalty on the university before it would restore the $400 million. So it had to pay 200 to get 400 million back, and so really they didn't get back 400 million. They only got back 200 million. I think that's basically my report. In terms of the latest, one other thing is that we get a monthly report from the Department of Environmental Protection about the complaints that they receive each month from residents of Community Board 12. In the month of December, the top complaint was dirty water. There was 34 complaints. And then following that, 3 different categories of noise complaints: construction before and after hours, 28 complaints; noise, barking dogs, 17; and noise from alarms, 15. That's something that we track every month. And again, it shows that noise is a persistent issue in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. We'll move on now to Housing and Human Services. I don't know if Indiana's here, but I first want to thank Indiana for providing us with the feedback that she did, which is the reason we are doing committee reports so early in the agenda. Indiana, thank you so much. And you can go ahead.
Thank you, Anthony. So for our our Housing and Human Services Committee, we have been trying to do a lot of, I think, assessing what our committee can do, how we can really dig in on the housing piece and how that's different from the work that the Land Use Committee does. So we reached out to City Planning, and they gave our committee a 101 on land use, just so that we have some context for the, some of the proposals and things that will come toward the community board's way in the future. We've also reached out to Housing and Preservation and requested a 101 presentation from them. It's been a little trickier to get them to engage with us, but we did receive 5 days ago a slide deck from them for like an HPD 101. So we intend to look at that and kind of educate ourselves at the upcoming meeting, which is the first Thursday of every month, starting at 6:30. So we invite you all to join us to go through that 101 presentation. And then we will be inviting them to come and present to us on specific issues. They said that they can do, rather than 101 presentations, they can come and talk to us about specific initiatives or programs that they run. So we've provided them a list of some of the topics that we're interested in, including the name escapes me, like their heating program. They said that they can come and present in March on that. We've also asked them to come and speak to us about programs for buildings that they've identified to do like enhanced enforcement. So I will keep you guys updated once we do get HPD presentations on the books. I also wanted to note that we had a community member come and speak to us about a rally that is called the No More Crumbs Rally and March. It is the second rally that this kind of group of advocates is hosting. Their first march was in November of 2025. I'm going to share that group's website link in the chat, and maybe also for the minutes of this meeting. But they're meeting once a week, and they're meeting virtually, I believe. So you can reach out to this organization if you want to be part of the planning. They're hoping for that next March to be in February. They've not pinned down the date yet, but they're hoping that it will be in Harlem. So it will be uptown. And I encourage you guys, if you're interested, to connect with them. They're talking about food, housing, and healthcare. So advocating for fully funding, Medicaid, funding ACA premium subsidies, enhancing housing. Oops, so sorry about that. And just housing programs and food and SNAP programs. So for the state to take up any, I guess, gaps that are left with the federal budget cuts. And I will leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Indiana. We'll now turn it to land use with Wayne Benjamin.
Anthony, if I may interrupt, I'm sorry. Public session is now officially closed at 7 p.m.
Okay, great. Thank you. First Vice Chair Leo. Wayne, take it away.
Thank you, Anthony. The January meeting of the Land Use Committee, we reviewed the new zoning handbook as well as the Manhattan Plan, which was released by the Adams administration towards the end of December. With regard to the zoning handbook, it has been around for a while, and I think I've mentioned on a few occasions when years ago, every member of at least the Manhattan community boards received a hard copy of the zoning handbook, which was an invaluable tool to help us understand what the various terms mean that we have to deal with when we are presented with various applications, but also how, zoning works in general. It is, in the prior iteration, somewhat technical. So the new version is written more like a textbook. And for people who are not architects, engineers, not in the field, it is something that is a good learning tool. And it is, a number of the Land Use Committee members noted, it is something that allows them to better understand what the terms are and what they mean. In terms of the Manhattan Plan, we discussed it briefly last year. The Manhattan Plan, it is not another zoning initiative like a City of Yes, and it's not a specific development plan. Rather, the Department of City Planning undertook an effort to get input directly from residents and community-based organizations on how they would like to see housing developed. The plan is a framework for guiding the development of housing over the next decade in Manhattan with the aim of developing 100,000 units. So that's like 10,000 units per year. We have asked the Department of City Planning, once the dust settles with the new administration, to come back to us. So that's probably in April or May, and speak to us more about next steps. I say when the dust settles because this was an initiative that started under the Adams administration. We now have a new administration. Clearly, there's still a need for affordable housing. Clearly, there's still a need to have a game plan for how you intend to proceed. But, how does the current administration intend to move forward with this plan? So we're not expecting to have that conversation this month or next. We're allowing for a few months. So we've asked for a follow-up in the spring. I would say that both the new zoning handbook and the Manhattan Plan are documents that I would encourage every member of Community Board 12 to take a look at. It's not just something, for land use. And in Airtable, the presentations, the documents that were shared with the land use are available for every committee member to download. So I will leave it at that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Wayne. We'll now move on to, I believe, Alexis, who is going to present for parks. If not Alexis, let me know who.
Yes, we will talk about the reso when that comes up.
Yep.
Is that okay?
That's right.
But for now, we're just, we had some concerns brought to us about parking issues, I think on Seaman, due to construction by not on Seaman, but by one of the parks. The bigger issue is, well, not the bigger issue, but one thing that we did bring up again, and I'm going to be asking Carmen De La Rosa's office and the Manhattan Borough President's office to give us a letter of recommendation so that we can move forth on the Sally Fisher naming at Inwood Hill Park. There was also a presentation from Dykeman, the Marina Division, on their summer youth employment program. You can refer to the minutes for all that information and all the upcoming events uptown. Thank you.
Thanks, Alexis. I see, Steve, you have a clarifying question?
Well, actually, I was slow in hitting the button. This goes back to Wayne's report. Do we have copies of this zoning handbook in the office for board members to look at?
The zoning handbook is available in digital format for free. So the document that is in Airtable, I believe, is the digital version. But if not, the office certainly has the link to the free version, and I've encouraged them to share it with the entire board.
All right, yeah, could we do that? I'd like to have it. I'd like to see it.
I've encouraged them to do that.
And we certainly will. I'll send it around in a note that I present to the board in the coming days.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, that takes us then to public safety. I don't know if Eleazar is on. I saw Jamirna. If either one of you want to present for your committee. Or
I'll say
any
refer
member.
to the minutes.
Thank you, Jamirna. All right, that takes us then to traffic. Leo, if you want to present on traffic and transportation.
Thank you, Anthony, and I want to thank Noemi who helped with some of the notes for the meeting minutes. This month, as Alexis mentioned, we had a joint conversation regarding Dolphin Park. As a committee, we unanimously passed in support the resolution urging New York and New Jersey Port Authority and elected officials to engage in good faith, collaborative process to reopen the park. So that was one conversation. We had MTA and DOT provide updates. MTA updates included the new and full use of the Omni card as of January 1st of 2026. We discussed camera enforcement in our area and the 2025-2029 capital plan accessibility plan or priorities in our district. And you can refer to the minutes for the locations or stations in our area. DOT also provided some updates, to what they could. They sent a representative, since Lyle, who's our regular, wasn't available. They provided updates on the Riverside Drive viaduct. I ask as a committee, as we support our elected officials, including Councilmember Sean Abreu, who's been an adamant advocate about reopening this area, is just to provide safety access for all emergency vehicles. I've heard a lot of cases, a lot of stories in the area with limited accessibility for these emergency vehicles. You know, we want to ensure that our local fire department, police department, local EMS services get to the buildings surrounding this location. You never know anything that can happen, and we want to ensure that DOT is aware of that, that they should provide access at all times. So that's a conversation we're continuously going to have during our committee meetings until we see something happen. We also discussed other locations in our district that we requested studies, including West 165th Street and Fort Washington Avenue. So, you know, the hospital has a new cancer research building developing in the area. So we asked DOT to come and take a look at it so that they can make some safety implementations on the street to ensure that our pedestrians and vehicles are able to traverse the area safely. We have a walkthrough. Noemi and I and some members of the committee have a walkthrough with DOT this weekend. We had to reschedule it a couple of times over due to people having time off for the holidays and recent weather conditions. But we're meeting up at DOT to discuss several locations central to southern part of our district. And lastly, we discussed and supported the resolution from the request of the People's Theater. DOT requires them to have about 40-foot space of no parking anytime signage in that area. So we support it as a committee. I encourage you guys to join us at our meetings. We try to have active conversations, not only amongst committee, but with the community and the partnering agencies so that we address the safety and accessibility and equity of our streets. So I encourage everybody to attend the first Mondays, 7 p.m. This upcoming committee meeting, we'll have DDC with a couple presentations. We'll discuss universal daylighting around schools and a conversation on possibly bringing back alternate side parking twice in our district. So look forward to you guys joining us.
Great. Thank you so much. I saw OC's hand first. OC, did you have a clarifying question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, did you mention that there will be 43 parking spot removed for that?
No, it's about 40 foot, including the docking zone, which is no parking anyways, no standing. So it's
How
really
many?
about 3 parking spots. 3 parking spots.
3 parking spots. Okay,
Yes.
got it. Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks, OC. And did you have a clarifying question?
Yes, I just wanted to add something to Leo's comments about the DOT and the impact of Sean Abreu's appointment to, I don't know if you mentioned, Leo, that he was appointed to majority leader of the city council now, which is certainly good news for us. Not only that, but he's now heading up the traffic and infrastructure committee at the city council. So if there's anything that needs movement in the lower part of CB12, I think we've got an ally on the team. Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
great to hear. Yep, and I'm sure we'll hear more from his office shortly. And then Steve, did you have a clarifying question?
Well, I just want to point out that if there's a discussion about changing the alternate side of the street parking policy, that should involve the Health and Environment Committee. The original resolution that reduced alternate side of the street parking in our district came out of my committee, and it's a sanitation department cleaning policy. So and it has environmental consequences. So this is an issue that should properly be discussed in my committee.
No, thanks for that. And honestly, this is an issue that I think does touch a number of committees. Also, there's an element where we've heard from the Superintendent Maury, who serves our district for DSNY, about enforcement in general and getting the police more involved. So there's a public safety element of that. So certainly encourage the chairs to chat offline and find out how they can coordinate. And I do want to just flag one thing in terms of committee meetings going forward. So the governor did decide to extend her state of emergency through until February 22nd. Now, that doesn't mean we need to be virtual through that time, but the purpose is making sure that there's, a safety net for the weather, the impending weather, and how cold it's been getting. We're going to take this week by week, but committee chairs, if you have an interest in holding your committee entirely online, please let me know days in advance so we can change the notices and we can talk offline about that. All right, I think that's it in terms of our committee. Oh no, I'm sorry. We also have youth and education. Tanisha, I almost skipped you. I am so sorry. Tanisha, please go ahead.
How
Thank
can
you,
you miss
Chair.
Queen Sis?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. So yes, Chair of Youth and Education Committee, we had a very robust and productive Youth and Education Committee meeting to start off the year. So yay. We had some community connection presentations by BioBus presentation, who are amazing and came to tell us about their BioBus internships and also tell us about how, our schools and, when we have block parties and we have events, like we can really rent these buses to come for the whole day and do amazing things with our children for the low. So that was amazing. We also had a presentation by Jazz Power to talk about, their free, very low cost dance program, which teaches the children all things about jazz. So that was amazing. What wasn't amazing was to have some of our parents from WIN come and also tell us about the hardships that they have been experiencing as parents of WIN students. There is a lot of things going on. We are going to have a town hall or hearing on it in February. The outrageousness of the charter schools in our community. I want you to know that the Youth and Education Committee will be looking at this seriously this year and supporting our students and our families to make sure that they get the culturally responsive, sustaining education that is literally New York State policy. We also had an amazing presentation during our presentation period from Class Size Matters. We talked about the class size mandates that fully have to be implemented in 2028. People, we have a lot of work to do. We discussed how some schools have the ability to be exempt from the class size, which we want to dig more into because we don't understand how that works. We also learned that we still in our district have 13 schools that are oversized. So we will be hearing more about that. We also had a presentation on AI and the abuse of AI in our schools. So we did write 2 resolutions, and we will be talking about them later. One resolution is about a topic that we had on in December, which is school buses. You can refer to the minutes for more details on that. Is there anything else I want to say? No. If anything you want to see, any other thing you want to see about our meeting, please refer to the minutes. Thank you. We will present our resolutions later.
Great. Thank you so much, Tanisha.
There's a
With that-
question for
oh.
Tanisha in the chat.
Okay, great. Let's see.
It's from Tracy. I just said, could you give a taste of what type of issues Wynn is experiencing?
Yes. Well, one of the issues is that we have a parent who has not been allowed to be on Wynn school premises for the last 3 years. Her child is in the 7th grade now, has been there since kindergarten, is an excellent student and an excellent musician, but yet her mother has not been able to come see her recitals, Tracy, in 3 years. As some of these schools always do, they are trying to criminalize this mother as violent. And that is not working with us because this is our community. And as a community organizer, I know this woman and I know her child. So that's just one of the issues that we are dealing with. I should have also mentioned that our great councilwoman, Carmen De La Rosa, did come and attend our meeting and give us updates on her education priorities. She is also our new chair of technology. So that too is a yay for us in District 6. And us together, we got together and we had a meeting with Wynn Charter School, and stay tuned.
Great. Thanks, Tracy. Thanks, Tanisha. Before we move on, I just want to say 2 things about our borough president who will be speaking soon. First, I just want to acknowledge that today is Holocaust Remembrance Day. I saw that the borough president had spent a portion of his day today reading names of those who had died during the Holocaust at I believe it was the Italian consulate. So just wanted to acknowledge that first and foremost. And then I'll turn it to a name that many people who are probably familiar with. I don't know if she's still here, but Marielle Ali. Many of you may have seen her on your screen. Reason for that now is she is with the Manhattan Borough President's Office. For those of you who don't know Marielle, Marielle is an alum of Community Board 12 Manhattan. She was our chair of Housing and Human Services right before Indiana. And I just wanted to congratulate her on her new role, as I believe it's Director of Community Affairs. Marielle, keep me honest. I don't know if she's still here.
Yes, I am here. Thank you so much, Anthony. It feels like a homecoming. It really does. Yeah, good evening, CB12. Really wonderful to be here. Really excited to be here, in a different capacity, but I'm here. So I am excited to serve as your Director of Community Affairs for the Manhattan Borough President's Office. I was actually just texting the Borough President to see when he'll be able to join us and kind of say a few words to Community Board 12. So if it's okay, I'll yield my time until he's able to join us a little bit later. Thank you,
Great.
Chair. And I'll
Thank
drop
you,
my
Marielle.
contact details in the chat.
Please do. So I think it's safe then to move on to the public session. Before I do that, I do ask all community board members, by law, we are required to keep our cameras on continuously so that the public is able to identify us. So if you are a member and you don't have your camera on, we do ask that you turn your camera on per our bylaws, per the open meetings law. With that, I'll turn it to the first vice chairperson, Leo, who is going to go through the public session. Oh,
Thank you,
and
Mr.
2 minutes, everyone. There's going to be a
Yes.
timer now. We're going to test this. Folks should be able to see a timer on their screen when they speak. Sorry, Leo, take it away.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. And as Anthony explained, everyone has 2 minutes. Once I call upon your name, please state your name, organization, and the topic you'll be discussing for the record. All right, we'll start it off with Danita Nichols from the New York Public Library. Danita?
Hi. So I hope everybody's staying good, nice and warm. I just had a couple of things to report from our uptown libraries. It's Danita Nichols, New York Public Library. I'm from Inwood Library, 4790 Broadway. And I'm also reporting for Washington Heights Library, 1000 St. Nicholas Avenue. On February 11th at 4 p.m., they're having a hybrid scholarship search workshop for anyone ages 15 and up. So for anyone that is looking to find ways to fund college, that will be great for them. At Inwood Library in February, we are doing some career and job events, including a Department of Labor job fair on February 27th. It's from 11 to 2 p.m. People sign up for a slot, and they're already starting to really fill up. There'll be people from various parts of the state government there to talk to job seekers and some training on how to find jobs within the state. And in advance to that, Career Service is going to be out at Inwood Library to demonstrate BrainFuse Job Now, which is one of our resources that has some great help for anyone that's a job seeker. And that's what I have tonight, and I will send flyers information to the community board.
Thank you, Danita. Up next, we'll have...
that timer works great.
Thank you. Up next, we'll have Jesse Pressman and Rabbi Guy Austrian from the Fort Tryon Jewish Center. They signed up together, so I'm assuming they'll have about a minute each. I yield the floor to Jesse Pressman and Rabbi.
Excuse me, they signed up together, but can we give them
yeah, we can give them 2 minutes each.
2 minutes each? Thank you.
Yes. So we'll start with Jesse Pressman.
Hi, could we actually have Rabbi Guy go first? We sort of timed it together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rabbi Guy.
Hi, this is Rabbi Guy Austrian from the Fort Tryon Jewish Center. Here with Jesse Pressman, who's a volunteer leader of the congregation. And we just came tonight to the meeting to share some exciting news. First, a little bit of background. Our congregation, our synagogue, has been an anchor of Washington Heights since 1938. It was founded by a group of Jewish refugees from Nazi Germany, together with American-born Jews. And for decades, as many of you know, we had a building on Fort Washington and 185th. In 2008, a failed redevelopment made our building uninhabitable. We eventually had to sell it. And we have been renting in one location or another for 18 years. Thank God we've actually managed to flourish and grow in that time, but to secure our future, we always knew we needed to find a new permanent home. So tonight we are so happy to share that we have purchased a property at 4311 Broadway at 184th Street, which until now has been the Q-Mart grocery store. And acquiring this property means that with God's help, we can continue to serve as a strong and stable anchor for decades to come, God willing. We hope not only for our own congregation, but we hope to be an anchor for the neighborhood as a whole. And I'll turn it over to Jesse Pressman, who can share a few more details about it.
Thank you, Rabbi Guy. So as Rabbi Guy said, we have purchased 4311 Broadway. It's a very old one-story building on the corner of 184th Street, and until recently the home to the Q Mart, which was a small grocery store that was put up for sale by the family who ran it. Our current plan is to demolish the structure and build a new synagogue on the site over the next 3 years. We're working with an excellent group of professionals to make sure that everything is done safely, responsibly, and beautifully. In case there are questions, we do not expect to build any housing above it, although we do hope that it will be able to provide rental and gathering space for our other local community groups. There are so many looking for space in the neighborhood. In the meantime, we are still renting at the Collegiate Church on 181st and Fort Washington. We have been getting a series of short extensions at like 3-month clips while they decide what they are doing with that campus. And because of that, we're not sure how long we'll be able to stay. We do anticipate that we will need to find another rental location before our new building is ready. Again, we're thinking that process will take about 3 years. So if anyone here knows of something that might be available for a congregation of about 145 families, please talk to us. We would love to hear from you. And we look forward to sharing more at the next meeting of the Land Use Committee. And thank you to the chair, Wayne Benjamin, for inviting us to do that. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And Wayne has his hand raised.
Thank you. We did share a couple of emails, and I just want to confirm that you are coming to the February committee meeting?
That's the plan.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Liz Rutter.
Did you say, did I miss how high your building is going to be?
We did not say. Right now, the current thought is maybe 3 or 4 stories, which
Love
is,
that.
yeah, it's shorter than the building next door to it, which is the Century Hardware.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I saw Steve Simon with his hand raised as well.
Liz stole my question.
Sounds good. All right, I see no one else. Thank you, Rabbi and Jesse.
Thank you.
Next, we have Orlando Nunez from Grow Up and Grow Out. Orlando Nunez. Is Orlando still on?
Is his name appearing as something else? I don't see an Orlando.
I don't see an Orlando anymore either. All right, so we'll move on in the essence of time. Dustin Schmidt, he's a community resident.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? This is my first CB12 meeting, and I apologize if this is not the right place for this or if it's been asked before, but I just wanted to bring up a few things. My wife and I have lived in the neighborhood for about 6 years now, but we actually just moved over here to near Amelia Gorman Park, and we were actually just wondering if that park was going to be reopened at any point in the near future. As far as we can tell, it has been closed for quite some time, and our kids would really like to be able to play in that park. The other issue I wanted to bring up is the homelessness issue, primarily around the 191st and 181st subway stations. I'm sure anyone who has taken those subways recently notices, obviously it is very cold and there are a lot of people trying to get out of the cold, but there is a good amount of people in those stations and on those platforms. I don't know if that's something that has been addressed with this committee or not, or any of the committees, but that is something that I would like to bring to your attention. I have obviously contacted 311 about this in the past, but those are the two things that I wanted to speak on. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Liz's hands raised, but before Liz answers, let's connect offline, Dustin. I might be able to reach out to MTA so we can discuss that. So I'll put my email in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Liz.
I also have some resources that I could send that we have been talking about. Dustin, this is an issue that we have been discussing in our executive committee about.
Fair enough. I figured as much. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping the gun for you, Alexis, but I know you're busy taking minutes. That the restoration of Amelia Gorman Park is an issue that has been discussed in the Parks and Cultural Affairs Committee for a long time. It's been a high priority of this board, but it's pretty expensive. And it needs funding because the Parks Department does not get its own capital funding. So there may be some information coming during the budget cycle from the councilwoman's office, which would, to the extent that that's being fixed, would be funded from there. And I would suggest that maybe you come to Parks and Cultural Affairs. Alexis has her hand up.
Yeah, sorry, I'm taking minutes and trying to do this. Amelia Gorman is a top priority. It's discussed almost monthly at Community Board 12 Parks and Culture meeting. Councilwoman Carmen De La Rosa is very much an advocate and has put aside funding for this park. I encourage you to come to the meetings to address your concerns and to speak to Jana Lasort, who is the Manhattan Director of Northern Manhattan Parks, and she gives weekly updates. You can also check Airtable and check the minutes for all updates. And I think that will answer a lot of your questions, but please come to the Parks and Cultural Affairs Committee meeting. Thank you.
Perfect. I will do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Octavio Blanco from Uptown Voices podcast and the Uptown Collective. Octavio, you have 2 minutes.
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to, first of all, thank Parks and Culture for all their work on and also on traffic for all their work on Dolphin Park. And I look forward to hearing about the resolution. I wanted to let everybody know about our existence. Uptown Voices is a podcast dedicated on this neighborhood, Inwood, Washington Heights, Harlem, and the South Bronx. This weekend, February 1st at 10 a.m. on Sunday, we have special guest Liz Ritter is going to be on, and also Carmen De La Rosa will be on, and we'll be asking about a lot of these issues that have come up in this meeting. I want to say that February 8th, we're going to have Oscar Romero, a congressional candidate for this district, running against Adriano Espaillat. And tentatively on February 15th, Dareliza Avila Chevalier, who was today endorsed by the Socialist Democrats of America, will be on our show. So February 15th, tentatively on that. So I just wanted to let everybody know that if you subscribe to Uptown Collective's YouTube page, you'll get alerts for when we go live. And yes, this Sunday, Liz Ritter is going to be on. The show starts at 10 and goes through till 11.
Thank you, Octavio. I actually have a question. If we forward you some flyers for some outreach events that we want going on in the district, would you advertise it on your podcast or on your social media as a partnership?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what we're all about. We want to make sure that folks know what's going on, and we'll be happy if you send us your flyer with what you've got going on. I'll be happy to do a rundown and spend time talking about it for sure.
Excellent. Thank you, man. Steve has his hand raised. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, what was that, 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. on Sunday?
It's 10 a.m. 10 a.m. on Sunday.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I see no other hands raised. We'll move on to our last. Sorry, Jermina Akuba has a question for you,
Yes,
Octavio.
sorry. I was just
Yeah.
wondering, I guess for either Octavio or Liz, what would Liz be speaking about, just so I could have an early heads up?
Well, she's been very involved with the Dolphin Park, so we're going to get an update on what's going on with Dolphin Park and whatever else she wants to talk about. But the focus is going to be Dolphin Park. Yep. Oh, and I should say that on Wednesday the 5th, it's not live, but we publish every Tuesday. State Senator Robert Jackson is going to be on the show, so that's going to be published next week. on Tuesday.
Okay, great. Right. Last up and last but not least, Mike Fiddleson from the United
Wait,
Palace.
I have my hand raised.
I'm sorry, Liz.
That's okay. I just want to briefly answer Jamirna and make it very clear that I'm happy to answer whatever questions Octavio and Led have for me. And while I almost certainly will be referencing some of my experience on Community Board 12, I want to make it very clear that I will not be speaking for Community Board 12. I am not authorized or empowered to do that. I will likely reference this reso, assuming it passes, but the reso speaks for the board. I do not speak for the board.
Yeah, she's
Thank you,
going to be
Liz.
on as a neighbor.
Thank you. Okay. So lastly but not least, Mike Fiddleson from the United Palace. Mike, are you on?
Yeah, Leo, I just unmuted. I'm actually on with Julio Bautista and Rob Snyder. Any chance we can grab them on too?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll add Rob Snyder and Julio Bautista.
Oh, great. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. So thank you, Leo. Thank you, Anthony, for allowing us a few minutes to chat. I just want to report that over the last past year, major institutions in Washington Heights and Inwood have come together to establish the first and only Washington Heights Inwood Community Hall of Fame. This will be to memorialize those community members who have made significant and longstanding contribution to our community. So with that, I'll turn over to Mike. He can explain a little bit more who those inductees are.
Sure thing. Thank you, Julio. And you can hear me, right? I'm back on?
Yeah.
We had 29 nominees from the community. In fact, some of the people that I'm staring at right now made nominations. And of those 29 nominees, the committee, which was made up of 16 local institutions, voted for 8 inductees. And they included, and this is strictly alphabetical order, based on first name, Al Curlin, who is a champion of community engagement, long-timer uptown. Andres Nieto, Director of Operations for Community Health at New York Presbyterian Hospital. Edith Prentice, who is a disability advocate and former CB12 member. Guillermo Linares, former city council member. A fellow named Luis Miranda. I can't name all the different things he's done uptown, but I first knew him as publisher of the fabled Manhattan Times newspaper. Marjorie Elliott, pianist, actress, and described as a true Harlem legend. Martin Collins, a community organizer and former CB12 member. And Stanley Michaels, also a former city council member. These folks will be inducted into the Hall of Fame, which will be a virtual affair on a new website that we are creating, and live on the exterior attraction boxes of the United Palace. We will have an induction ceremony in April. You will all get a date and an invitation as soon as those are set. And batting cleanup tonight for our little trio, and I'm hoping he's still here, is Robert Snyder, who is got at least a few more minutes as the official Manhattan historian. Rob, you there? I got to admit, that was a very nice introduction for Rob, who apparently may have gotten sucked into the ether. What Rob would have talked about, and he was a part of the process, devising the process and voting on it and helping us with the induction, is that we've created an opportunity for local residents to determine who the folks are that best represent historically this particular community, Washington Heights and Inwood. And we're hoping that once we do this another year or two and get it established, it's a process that we can hand off to other neighborhoods around Manhattan, around New York City, if they're interested in also creating shrines for their local folks. We've got a lot of names that are co-naming streets. But they're just names. No one knows a lot of the information, the biographies behind them. We're hoping with this Community Builders Hall of Fame that we'll be able to give a little bit more information about the folks who have made us who we are.
And I'd like just to also end by thanking really Catherine Diaz and Ebenezer Smith, who were very instrumental and helpful in this process, especially being able to offer the community board as a location where people could drop off nominations if they needed to do so in paper. So thank you.
Thank you, Julio and Mike. We have a couple hands raised. I saw Liz and then Alexis.
Quick question, Mike, do you have any upcoming fundraiser events at the United Palace that you wanted to tell us about?
Yes, there is a friend raiser at the United Palace on February 19th. It's going to be to help repaint the grand foyer as we count down the years to the 100th anniversary of the United Palace on February 22nd, 2030. If you have any questions about that, I'll do my best to throw my email here in the chat. I'm not great at this stuff, though.
And if you can forward that as well to the board office, Mike, so we can send it out as well in a newsletter. We have Alexis. Hey, Alexis.
Yeah. Hi, Julio. Just want to let you know, Miss Marjorie and I will be calling you together tomorrow.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you, Alexis. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Alexis. All right. Last but not least, I know I said that before, we had Orlando Nunez. He actually responded in the Q&A from Grow Up and Grow Out. So Orlando, under David Morales, I think it is, you have 2 minutes.
Can I be heard now? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, beautiful. All right. So my name is Orlando Nunez. I'm with Grow Out Junior. We are with the Department of Youth, with DYCD and ONS. So we are a new program, and we're servicing the youth 11 to 24. Still gotta get that age range, but it's 12 to 24 for youth in that community. We are servicing the youth that are impacted by the justice system. We're partnering with the 33rd and 34th precinct to better service those youth. So any referrals would be welcome. We do want to connect with Tanisha Grant to see if we can get any lead and referrals to service the youth. We specifically want to address the gun violence and the crime that unfortunately is plaguing our youth and in our communities. So those are some of the topics that we like to target and to connect with the community in order to receive those referrals, those high volatile youth, and work with them with one-on-one coaching.
Thank you, David. I see no questions, and that ends the public session.
Oh, I have a question for David.
Go ahead.
I'm Orlando. David, that must be the account of my team member, Pastor David Morales. He's present as well.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying. So I was wondering, where are you based out of? Like, do you have an office? Are you like online? Where can we find you and learn more about your organization?
Currently, our office is at the Harlem Collective, just outside the catchment area, right? We're looking for a safe space in Washington Heights. We want a safe space at the heart of Washington Heights, so that the youth can have more access to the programming that we have to offer. The Harlem Collective is in, I have the address here. It's located in between 151st and 152nd Street, Amsterdam Avenue.
1850 Amsterdam. That's where we are at Classical Theater of Harlem.
Yeah.
1850 Amsterdam Avenue is where they're located.
If there's a website, could it be shared on the chat? Thank you.
Yes. I'll definitely share the website and my phone number. And again, I know that Tanisha works with the Youth and Education Committee. And I know that we have a team member that's also with the Legal Aid Society. It's someone that we would want to connect with as well.
Thank you,
you.
Eliza. Right, that ends our public session. Mr. Chair, I cede the floor to you.
Thank you. Sorry, Supervisor, you have right now.
Yeah. Okay, so we're coming like for business. But I think is the borough president in yet? Be a great segue to this.
No, not yet.
No?
I'll let
Okay.
you know. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Maria. All right. So thank you for patiently waiting to our local representatives. And we have Frenet Familia from Council Member Carmen de la Rosa's office.
Hi, can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Honored y'all chose me first. Good evening. Also want to acknowledge Holocaust Remembrance Day. I think that's incredibly important, especially given all of the events that are happening across our country, and I'll leave it there. Some updates from City Hall. We were sworn in for another 4 years. Prior, we served as a committee on civil service and labor. As someone mentioned, we're now the appointed as technology chair. So we're really excited to strengthen government oversight on technology, especially at a time where innovation and equity must move in lockstep. Technology touches every part of our daily lives, especially in education, how government functions, even surveillance technology, AI, everything is moving so quickly. Government should move just as fast to make sure it's equitable and responsible. We also, someone mentioned the budget. Yes, that is coming up. Our discretionary budget forum for both Reso A and for nonprofits are tomorrow, and we move them to Zoom given the weather. We want to make sure everyone is safe. Reso A specifically for school projects, so please, please, please nudge your principals to join. They should have already received multiple points of communication from our team, but an extra push always helps. And then later that evening at 5:30, you can RSVP if you are a nonprofit who needs discretionary funding, not capital funding, discretionary. That is at tinyurl.com/D10FY27 forum. I'll also drop it in the chat. It's also linked in our link tree on all of our social media accounts and has been posted across our social media and email newsletter. Just FYI, deadline for discretionary is February 18th at 6 p.m. No ifs, ands, or buts. Capital applications run on a different timeline. Feel free to ask me after. Those are a little bit more complicated. Moving forward, so snow removal, we know that this weekend had a lot of snow, and I want to thank Community Board 12 and also just the constituents of our area. I think we managed it very well given how much snow that we received. With that being said, ASP, which is alternate side parking, is suspended until February 1st to facilitate that removal. So just, try to help our agencies, all the thousands of city workers that work so hard over this weekend to keep our city safe. Just help them as well and, say thank you when you see them. As someone mentioned, there are warming centers citywide, but there's unfortunately none directly in our district. Thank you, Anthony, for mentioning the warming buses. But as we mentioned before, this is Code Blue is active right now to facilitate quick temporary housing. So that means that shelter rules are relaxed and you can report neighbors who need help to 311. Feel free to also flag to our office for follow-up so we can keep nudging agencies for folks who need help. And that is for any type of assistance needed during this period of inclement weather. Our annual Independence Dominican celebration is being scheduled for February 25th at City Hall. I don't know what the celebratory noises are, but thank you so much.
It does mean your time is up.
Oh, no. Time was running down. Time was running down.
Oh no. Okay. Anyway,
But you do
February
have
25th,
questions,
all are
so.
invited. I'll take questions and I'll
Thank
drop
you.
those links in the chat as well.
Thank you for that. We have Steve and then Jermina.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Freina, you said there are no warming centers in your district, which covers most of Washington Heights and Inwood. We don't have any warming centers at all.
So they're not directly in our district. There is one in Upper Harlem.
Yeah, allow me to answer this question, Frey.
Go ahead, Tanisha.
Thank you so much. Because this is something that we've been working on in the background, the chair and I. So this is the issue. Per borough, there are only 2 warming centers. Let me say that again. Per borough, I think this is something that your committee should take up, Steve. There are only 2 warming centers per borough. The closest warming center to our community is in East Harlem. The other one is in Midtown. As Anthony said, they have added buses, warming buses, which is inadequate. So that is something that we should also be talking about because that is not nearly enough. From the reports I am getting, we have already had 12 people, 10 people perish.
I thought they were opening up schools and libraries for this purpose.
No, over the weekend libraries were closed, and our schools were closed as well, obviously for remote learning. So we did not have that as access this time around. Usually during inclement weather, those are options. Like over the summer when when we have extreme heat, yes, libraries and schools tend to be cooling centers. But given the conditions this time around, that was not considered in the flip side.
Is Common pushing this to try to get something in our area?
Of course, as Tanisha mentioned, they only picked two, but we know that our sliver of Manhattan is special, and we need our special attention up here as well.
Well, I mean, we have I think we have a particular need because of the state of our housing. And we have more rent regulated housing than any other community in the city. And probably, buildings with a lot of housing code violations. So I would hope that I think Carmen has the basis for making a case that we should have at least one in our community.
We will continue to advocate for that. I know there was another question, Jamirna.
Yeah, Jamina.
Hey, so my question is regarding tomorrow's event, Furthering Police Accountability.
Yes.
Would there be a Zoom option available or a way for people to join online?
We are attending as panelists, but I can ask the event organizer if that's a possibility, given again the weather. Thank you. I'll follow up with them for that.
Thank you.
Any other
Thank you for that.
question? I
I
know
think
folks had asked about the
clear.
train stations. I will say that we had a interagency conversation literally like 2 weeks ago because this has been an ongoing issue and a priority for us as well. And we are doing other walkthroughs with the scout teams that the MTA works with. So please keep flagging for us when you guys see anything going on, particularly at the 181st, 191st, and 190th A train stations, because those have been flagged as priority for us. We're trying our best to get the agencies and other nonprofits to have better coordination on this because this cannot continue being an issue. So please flag for our office, but also keep reporting to 311 so that NYPD can respond immediately.
Thank you for that. Up next, we have Ian Boldestein from Councilmember Shauna Bray's office.
Hey everyone, thank you for having me. As mentioned earlier, Councilmember Bray was named the city council's new majority leader, as well as the chair of the transportation committee. So, we've been going through a lot of changes in the office the past couple weeks, but it's very exciting. He and us feel like the leadership roles really offer the community a great opportunity to, have some more influence in the budget and policy decisions citywide over the next 4 years. And he's going to be working alongside Speaker Julie Menon to push for progress on housing and childcare, healthcare costs, all the different affordability issues that really, affect quality of life for us New Yorkers. On transportation issues, he wants to try and, bring the same approach that he took with the trash containerization in West Harlem. Really wants things to be sort of people first. Definitely looking forward to working with communities and advocates in Upper Manhattan, and citywide to make streets safer, make the infrastructure more reliable. Make sure stalled projects get completed, and make sure in general that public spaces work better for all of us that use them every day. Recently in the district, or district-wide updates, I guess a couple weeks ago, he was alongside the nurses on strike at Presby, there with Miriam Mamdani and the Attorney General Tish James. We really hope that they're able to come to an agreement on a fair contract soon. Also last week, further down on the Upper West Side on West 97th Street, he joined a tenants association, Westgate apartment complex, which is a property owned by A&E Realty, which was recently named the worst landlord in the city by the public advocate, and they were rallying against willful negligence on A&E Realty's part, and we're going to be submitting a letter referring the case to the Manhattan DA along with the borough president office. Borough president has been leading that effort. And then upcoming in the neighborhood on Wednesday, February 4th, we're going to be doing a no cost mammogram event outside of our office on the corner of West 141st Street and Amsterdam Ave. So please call our office if you want to make an appointment. We still have slots that we'd love to fill. And then also, we're helping spread the word for Northern Manhattan Improvement Corporation and the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. They're going to be giving free tax preparation for both regular filings and self-employed individuals. I believe it's starting this week and going on for the next couple months. So if you want to schedule an appointment for that, you can visit NMIC's website there, nmic.org /taxes. And yeah, that's about all I have for tonight. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ian. I see Alexis' hand. I also want to remind all our local elected officials, representatives, submit your report to Alexis via email, just so she could include in the minutes. Alexis.
Thank you, Jared. That's exactly what I was going to say, because you guys give a lot of information in a small amount of time. And to make this job as secretary easier, not just for me, but for those who come after me, it would be extremely helpful if on a monthly basis you could submit those reports.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I'll
that
send it to you.
everything can be included.
Thanks.
I would be madly in love with you if you did that. Thank you.
Will do.
Thank you. I don't see any other hands, Ian. Thank you. All right, up next, Edgar Tavares from State Senator Robert Jackson's office. Saw Edgar on earlier. He's still on. Edgar Tavares from State Senator Robert Jackson's office.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so first we want to acknowledge Holocaust Remembrance Day. This is not only important history, but this is also a history that we have to refer to dealing with what we're dealing with right now, and the kind of history that we don't want to repeat again. And in that regard, I want to acknowledge a few bills that the senator is not only pushing for, but doing in collaboration with other state senators, doing the best that they can in order to get these things codified. First is the New York for All Act, which is S2235. It's a bill that's designed to ensure that immigrant New Yorkers can live without fear of deportation or discrimination. It prohibits state and local government agencies, including law enforcement, from cooperating with ICE and Customs Border Protection unless there is a signed judicial warrant. This legislation seeks to create a consistent statewide standard for how city and state agencies interact with federal immigration enforcement. The two other bills, the first one is Keep Our Civilians Safe Act, which is Senate Bill S4121. The purpose is to protect the rights of all New Yorkers, regardless of immigration status, to access essential services without fear. The bill prohibits civil arrest within 1,000 feet of sensitive locations, which includes schools, healthcare facilities, places of worship, shelters, and government offices, again, unless if supported by a judicial warrant. And I'm sorry, I was thinking three, but it's two. It's two bills. These are the two bills. So these are two bills that are part of a package that is concerning how we what the limitations are for ICE in New York State. Another thing that I want to mention, as was highlighted earlier, has to do with A&E Realty. There is an event taking place Saturday, January 31st, from 12 to 3 at the PSC CUNY office, which is at 25 Broadway on the 15th floor. Um, this is an event bringing A&E tenants all across the city for an in-person meeting focused on building power, sharing strategies, and organizing for stronger protections, and participate with tenants and other A&E owned buildings properties citywide. And they will also be able to hear directly from tenant leaders and share information.
I'm sorry, Edgar. We're losing connection.
And contact and go from there as well. With SYP, these applications are open. Do you hear me better now? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're also over time.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Edgar, we hear you. We're also over time, so if you want to wrap it up, and again, if you can
Okay.
please send your
Yeah,
report to Alexis.
sure,
Can,
I'll do that. Yeah, so the applications for SYP, they're open till February 27th. And the last thing was that there is an organization called EDCAP, EDCAP, that helps with free student loan support. So if you need help managing your college debt, they, paying back loans and configuring those things out, EDCAP will help you do that. And that is edcapny.org, edcapny.org. And I will make sure to send you this report via email. Thank you.
Thank you, Edgar. Steve has a question for you.
Yes, thank you. Senator Jackson has a bill pending in the state Senate, S 8847, which sets staffing standards for EMS workers in the 911 system. Would you want to come before my committee to speak about this bill, and maybe we could consider doing a resolution in support?
We could definitely speak about that. If would you have our office information? You could definitely reach out to me and we could discuss that.
All right, very good.
Edgar, can you put your
All right,
contact information in the chat if you haven't already done so?
No problem.
Thank you. Indiana has a question for you.
Thank you. I also wanted to invite you to our meeting. It is the first Thursday of the month at 6:30 to speak about the bill that I believe the senator's carrying about tenant bill of rights.
Right. Yes.
Great. So I will reach out to you about that as well.
Yeah, you can do both meetings. We meet at the same time.
Exactly.
Okay, I mean, I could just split myself in half and just do what I can there.
No, when you finish with one of us, you just walk down the hall to the other meeting.
Exactly.
It's very
sure.
easy.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll leave my contact information here. And,
sounds good. Stephen
we'll
Indiana will reach out.
Thank you.
Will reach out so you guys can set it up. Okay, moving on. Lori Tobias Cohen from Congressman Adriano Espaillat's office.
Yeah, hello, good evening. Excuse me. This month, Congressman Adriano Espaillat stood in solidarity with nurses across New York City as they demand a fair and equitable contract. As we know, nurses are the backbone of patient care, our entire healthcare system, and the communities who rely on them. Representative Espaillat joined community and faith-based leaders this month to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and remember his vision of faith, justice, and unity. Together, we pause to reflect on his teachings and recommit to carrying forward his message of justice, equality, and fairness for all. Regarding his legislative work in Washington, Congressman Adriano Espaillat chairman of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, joined colleagues in Minneapolis during a field hearing to hold ICE accountable. Espaillat also co-sponsored a resolution to impeach DHS Secretary Kristi Noem and joined Representative Benny G. Thompson, Democrat of Michigan, MS, I'm sorry, I'm not sure, ranking member of the Homeland Security Committee, to introduce legislation to regulate the use of mobile biometric surveillance technologies by ICE. Representative Adriano Espaillat, as chairman of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, introduced a framework to ensure a democratic and stable democracy in Venezuela. And lastly, but not least, the congressman joined constituents and community leaders to celebrate Three Kings Day across New York 13 and around the nation. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions for Lori? I see none. Okay. That ends the elected officials' reports.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't have my hand up in time. I did have a question for Lori.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Apologies. Is there anything going on in a congressman's office about what our constituents should be doing to keep them safe from ICE in our neighborhood, as we now know that they're now throughout New York City? Is there sort of instructions that should be had, or things that we as a community board should be, presenting? What sort of congressional direction does he have for our constituents?
We have a document. It's kind of a blueprint. There have been myriad volunteers spread out throughout the district. Know your rights in Spanish and English, explaining to people how to keep themselves and their families safe, how to respond if they're approached by ICE. And people have found this a useful and important resource, and we'd be happy to make it available to CB12. So if someone could reach out to me with an email, I'll be happy to send it. It could be disseminated, obviously, to all of the members, but we've made sure to get this into the hands of as many immigrants as possible. We are aware of every single individual that gets targeted by ICE, and we do get calls regularly about exactly this issue, and the congressman is working tirelessly around how to protect his constituents.
Thank you. We have Jermina and then Tanisha.
Tanisha could go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that, we do a lot of know your rights trainings, but unfortunately, even with doing know your rights trainings, this is not stopping these people from hemming up our community. So, if you could just take back to the congressman that it's just a lot frustrating, because we're even seeing our immigrant community who know their rights still being taken away. So we need better solutions besides knowing your right, because a big part of us do, and it's still happening. So if you could take that back to the congressman, we would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna circle back to Jermina.
I was just wondering, I don't think this is necessarily for the congressman, but for the borough president if he's present. But I'll just toss the question here. In the past, former Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine used to have free tax service during tax season. So I was wondering if the congressman or any of our local elected officials are planning to do something similar, provide that service for community members.
I just want to comment that I have not heard that we are doing any tax preparation clinics, but people are able to come to us as advocates and as resources for people that are having difficulties or who have challenges with the IRS and want to get clear explanations to the correspondence that they're getting and the expectations, et cetera. So we have liaisons within the IRS that we're happy to try to confer with to help our constituents at all times.
Thank you. Frenetti from Carmen De La Rosa's office responded in the chat. Thank you.
Crystal Woodley has a question or comment for you, Lord.
I just wanted to know, can I have a broader view of what the pipeline is if somebody gets hemmed up? Yes, getting their rights, but also their access to resources after that. Like, I'm sure that's not on the flyer. Is that information also getting out there?
What kind of resources are you referring to?
Well, when they're taken away, sometimes their stuff may be lost. I've been hearing things about their property getting stolen and things like that. What do they have in place so that they can obtain these things back, like funding wise?
That's a very good question.
Legal stuff.
Sure. So I've included my contact info in the chat. I'd be grateful if you would text me or email me with your contact information, and I will try to get an answer to that question.
Okay. And last but not least, is there a running tab of some sort of when people are taken away, like the address of the high zones, where they are, what time of day it is? Is it more intricate or is it just broad on the demographics?
That's also a very
about
good
the person being taken.
Right. No, I understand. And we have contact with people that are helping, that they're on the scene. They're right there when people go to the Federal Plaza for appointments and whatnot, and they're getting picked up. So we do have representatives and witnesses, and information is brought back to us as a result of all of that. But again, kindly refer to specifically that issue, and I will look into it and get back to you.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori, I actually have one more question. Does the council member, the congressman follow up with the people that are taken from our district? Does he know if they are sent back? Are they being housed at facilities down south or in prisons overseas, South America? Does he have a tab of what's going on within the district?
Sure. Okay, excuse me. So, as it said in my presentation, he is the chair of the Hispanic Caucus, and that kind of work is being done. That very granular attention is being done by the staff for the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. So we liaise with the staff from the congressman, liaises with that staff, but that kind of information is being gathered and recorded to the best of my knowledge. But again, another very good question. I'd be grateful if you'd reach out to me about it so I can look into it further and get back to you.
We have Indiana and then Tracy, and we'll wrap up this portion.
Thank you. I was wondering if there was any talk about what the Congress member might be able to do, again, if anything, about the new ICE facility. There was that is supposed to be, I guess they're converting a warehouse or something to an ICE detention center. I believe it's just outside of the city, but I just didn't know if there was anything that the Congress member could do about that or had already taken action on that.
Again, given that it's not in his district, and whoever is making that facility available to ICE would be able to function independently. Whether the congressperson in that district has responded or not is a different question. I am happy again to look into it, and I'd be glad to hear from you.
Great, thank you.
And lastly, Tracy, and then we'll wrap
I'm
it up.
just asking a clarifying question based upon your question, Leo. And is that recognizing that the Hispanic caucus is taking its own, getting its own statistics. Leo's question was specifically about the people in our particular community. So are you saying that that people from our particular community who are taking away the statistics are being sort of housed by the Hispanic caucus, or is the congressman doing it himself?
The congressman is the chair for the Hispanic caucus. So what he directs them to do relates specifically to our district, but more broadly as well. Okay, he's one of several members. His main concern is going to be his constituents.
Okay.
Again, you're more than welcome.
No, I was just confused that the congressman is asking his committee to do outsourcing work for our community, and that was just the clarifying question I was asking.
Okay, I don't think he would regard it as outsourcing. It's it's very well integrated into the activity of our DC staff.
Thank you, Laura. We'll communicate through email, but we'll highlight that we would like that information from our district. But thank you for
my pleasure.
Appreciate it. And with that, we're wrapping up. Chair, take it away.
Great, thanks so much. And now I'll turn it over to Marielle Ali from the Borough President's Office to give a small report from that group.
Thank you, Chair. And good evening again, Community Board 12. Good to be here. Thank you for having me. Unfortunately, the Borough President is unable to make it. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. As far as we know as of right now, so if it's okay, I will give just a quick report about from our office. So for those of you who don't know, we have a new Manhattan Borough President, Brad Hoylman Siegel. He is a longtime public servant who previously served as a state senator for the West Side. He is also a longtime community board member and chair of Community District or Community Board 2, which I think is really exciting. So he really does come to the office with a lot of that experience, that engagement, and really a true desire to center community boards in everything that our office does. So as Borough President, some of Brad's priorities are focusing on affordable housing and protecting tenants, supporting small businesses, advocating for public school families, and strengthening arts and culture across Manhattan. Two really big things that I want to flag for you this evening. As you know, the community board application process is open. You will have, those of you who are up for reappointment will have received an email from Porfirio. He will continue to serve as your direct liaison for our office. I'm obviously also an additional resource for all of you, and I'll drop my contact details in the chat. I also want to invite you all to what Brad is calling an inaugural celebration borough convention. So it's Making Manhattan, and it's an opportunity to shape the future and focus of the way our office works. That will be on Sunday, February 22nd at 1 p.m. at Alice Tully Hall in Lincoln Center. And it truly will be an opportunity to hear from all communities across Manhattan. So it will start off with, a speech. We'll have some speeches from some elected officials, but then really the focus of the conversation will be turning it over to community, hearing from community. What does it mean to, what does mass transit look like uptown? What does housing look like? We want to hear from you. So we really hope that you all join us for that. And then if I can just really quickly, Chair, I know there was a question earlier around tax prep sessions. So yes, the Manhattan Borough President's Office will be hosting tax prep sessions at the Northern Manhattan office. I will ask our colleagues for those details and be sure that Community Board 12 receives that information. And lastly, since I did hear some members talk about ICE, I would like to share that the Manhattan Borough President did sign on to a letter to the Board of Directors and Executive Staff of the Hudson River Park Trust. Some of you may know that the Hudson River Park Trust has continued to offer and kind of be in contract with ICE through its parking contract at Pier 40. And so the Manhattan Borough President, along with other elected officials downtown, have signed and kind of, raising their voice against that. Thank you.
Good timing. Thank you so much. All right. I think that takes us to the next portion of our agenda, which will be items for a vote this evening. Let me put back up my screen here. Okay, so for this evening, we have a couple of items up on the agenda for a vote. They are enumerated on the agenda, but just wanted to give a quick overview of some of them here. So these are all the ones that will be spoken to in a moment. And then we also have our routine licensing / quasi-licensing resolutions that we'll go over as well. As always, each committee as a whole has 10 minutes to speak about the resolutions that they're putting forward. And I will start with the first one, which I provided, I believe, over email as well as on Airtable with regard to removal of a board member. I will lead this conversation first by saying because the cause of removal is related to attendance and attendance is public, we do not need to go into executive session. However, if any member of the board starts asking questions that are personal in nature, then we would. So I'd ask that, of course, please ask questions as part of the discussion for the resolution, but just keep that in mind as you're constructing your questions. I provided the details in the resolution. In essence, this board member was appointed in the spring. The board member has not attended any of their required meetings, that well exceeded the limitations set by our bylaws. We've made numerous attempts to correspond with the person through various channels. I won't go into details, but through email, through phone calls, and the like. And we have not received any information back. And so at this point, the appropriate next step would be for removal. And so as chair, I am recommending to the board that we move forward with the removal. This will be voted on with the rest of the resolutions as it is a resolution. But kindly note that a majority of the board voting in favor of this resolution means that effective immediately, this member would be removed. For the record, the name of the member is Andrea Antriago. Any questions regarding this resolution before I pass it off to traffic and parks? Okay, seeing none, I will pass it off. I think Leo and Alexis are taking this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Alexis take the lead and I'll add Liz as well.
Great.
Draft the resolution, so I would have her say a few things as well. But Alexis, you can start us off.
Oh, no, I was going to do what you were doing. I am going to pass this huge baton to Liz Ritter because she was involved in this in a numerous amount of ways. And I think she is best to present the overall reso.
Thank you so much.
Hit it, Liz.
And thank you both for your support of the Dolphin Park and for really embodying what it is for two committees to work together on an item of overlapping interest and purview. I hope that you all are looking at the correct version of the reso, which is I finally figured out how to put it on the new format. And it's got the version that was first sent out was the version that passed traffic and transportation, but then the following week when Parks and Cultural Affairs met at a meeting that was also attended by Leo for TNT, we added a bunch of information, sort of historical information and context about the development of the park. And so that is the revised reso, which was passed unanimously by the two committees and forwarded to you late yesterday or this morning. It was pointed out by Steve that subsequent to both of those committee meetings, the Port Authority did go on record with their commitment to reopen this park by May of this year. So we accepted Steve's friendly amendment to reword the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth whereas, because being quite so, we demand that this agency do whatever. The fact that they are now on record as having a commitment to reopen it, we can soften that language a little bit. And so we suggested the GWB's Cabrini, whereas the GWB's Cabrini entrance and repairs to the North Walk were completed in 2023, but the PANYNJ has yet to identify a community-based partner to provide programming and supervision in the park, semicolon, and the rest of that language is really no longer necessary. We're also I think I'm missing something. I wrote in another, we would change what is currently the last whereas, take out now therefore be it, and put in and add a final whereas that says, whereas the Port Authority has publicly stated its commitment to reopen the park by May of 2026. And then there are some minor changes in the first and second resolves that again reflect that A, commitment, and B, language that I read from the whereas on the first page. Does anybody have any questions?
I also want to thank Luana for really spearheading this, coordinating the support and going to my meeting and just kind of getting the ball rolling. But as Liz said, we had a conversation with Port Authority after my committee meeting, and they agreed and were committed to opening the park in the spring, specifically in the spring of 2026. They were looking to identify partners. They had a couple. They were sorting through and vetting, but they did commit to opening the park in the spring.
Okay, so I'll say spring,
language.
not May.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what the language that Steve recommended and Liz and I accepted as a friendly amendment to highlight that for the accountability piece. And with that, I think Steve has a question for us, Liz and Alexis.
Yeah, thank you, Liz and Leo, for being open to my friendly amendments. But I thought that we were also going to change the seventh whereas, since it now seems to be outdated. So since meaningful progress has now been made to reopen the park, so it obviously did not require coordination and collaboration among elected officials and the Port Authority.
I'm actually going to push back on that a little bit. I am pretty sure that the reason why the Port Authority has been so open to this is they have been contacted by many elected officials and representatives. And while I think that stating that meaningful progress towards, frankly, anything requires conversation, public conversation that includes the electeds under whose purview agencies or facilities fall.
Okay. Then maybe you should put it in the past tense and just say required coordination and collaboration, since something has evidently already occurred. That
I hate to be a jerk, Steve, but collaboration and coordination will, certainly until after I die, even at an old age, will continue to be an important thing. Is this really the hill you want to die on, man?
Yes, because they have now made meaningful progress. You want to keep it the way it is, keep it the way it is. The important point I want to make, and I want to reiterate for the other members of the board, is that we should hold the Port Authority to this commitment to open the park and to keep it open. And the idea that they might need a partner in order to have to continue to keep it open, to me, is a bogus issue. They have the reason.
That's been removed.
Excuse me, can I finish my statement?
Sure.
They they have the ability and they have the wherewithal to keep this park open for the foreseeable future. And there should be no question among anybody as to whether or not a partner is required. Thank you.
I also want to add, and I saw for that, part of the conversation I had with Port Authority, supporting that Councilmember De La Rosa was part of conversations promoting the reopening of the park. So I wouldn't be opposed to including that.
Well, let's acknowledge that. Yes.
I think that's
that could go into that seventh whereas.
All right, we're in
think
our
it
last 5 seconds,
I think
so
it makes more sense in the sixth, in the eighth whereas, where she's specifically mentioned than to where it says are all supportive of the park's reopening, and it can say and worked with the Port Authority, yada yada yada.
Yeah. Dave, do us a favor, send it to Liz, and then we'll add some wording around it just to move this forward.
Very good.
We'll do. Thank you.
Okay, great. I will turn it over now to our, well, it's still our chair of traffic and transportation, talking about the People's Theater resolution.
Yeah, I'll keep it short.
Oh, wait, hang on. I see a
Hello?
special guest on screen. I do want to give him an opportunity to speak. So, Mr. Borough President, thanks for joining us.
Thank
Please
you.
do take it away.
Thank you so much. It's good to see everyone. Sorry that I'm tardy. It's been a busy night. Just wanted to say thank you for everything that you're doing at the board level. You know, we had our first borough board meeting and our first borough service cabinet meeting. And one of the pledges I made was to support community boards and all the important work you do. Also wanted to remind you that we're having an inaugural celebration in a borough convention. I think my colleague Mary Alma had mentioned it. It's on February 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m. at Lincoln Center. And then third, of course, community board applications are open now. So look forward to everyone reapplying and new people applying as well. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, or my team, which has been amazing. So thank you so much.
Brad, thank you.
What's the
really
date
do
of that
appreciate
and the
it.
location?
February 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m. at Lincoln Center, Alice Tully Hall. That's like what, 68th and Broadway?
65th.
65th, yes. Okay, thank you.
And we'll make sure to circulate that information through our newsletter so all the board members and community members have it.
Thank you.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
And we look forward to continuing to work together and hopefully see you in person sometime soon.
Indeed. Indeed. Stay safe.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you. You as well.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, Leo, I'll turn it now back to you
Sounds
for
good.
the People's Theater.
Sounds good. Thank you. So I'll keep it brief. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but the People's Theater, spearheaded by Mina Laura, was founded in 2009 in Washington Heights and Inwood. It's a grassroots initiative supporting the arts, has a long track record of community-based arts and immigrant-serving programs, especially with the day and age. We need them at this new location. Part of the requirement from DOT for theaters is that they need to come to the board and request formally for support for no parking signage. The reason that this is needed is because you need safety for pedestrian and their customers and patrons who attend, for loading and unloading of theater equipment, for drop off and pickup of youth and senior programming, and the theater is slated to open in June 2026, I believe. What Mino said. So they came to us a few months ago. We told them to come back a little closer to the date so we can have this discussion. It passed unanimously at the board, as I mentioned earlier, and thank you, OC, for bringing it up for clarification. It's about 40 feet or about 3 parking spaces. That's accompanied by the loading dock, which is no parking anyway, no standing area. And yeah, it's a pretty straightforward advisory. The case number, the DOT case number, is attached to the reso. I wanted to highlight it since they have already applied. Stated their intention to DOT. We just want to pass a reso to provide that support for them in anticipation of their opening date. Go ahead, OC.
Yeah, I didn't read the entire resolution, but I want to make sure that it specifically indicated that 3 spots, I mean 43 feet / 3 spots only are being taken away. So it's clear. So there are no questions, or DOT sometimes do things, not necessarily related to how, it is presented at the meeting. So
I agree. Yeah,
same.
we put in the reso approximately 3 parking spaces.
Okay.
That's 40 feet. But thank you for that. Any other questions? Okay, and I want to give a shout out to Mary Anderson, who is an actress for the People's Theater. I hope we can go support Mary Anderson in her work the next couple months. Thank you.
No, thank you. All right, that takes us now to our 2 youth and education resolutions. Tanisha, do take it away.
Thank you, Chair. So we have 2 resolutions. One is on resolution in support of accountability, transparency, workforce stability, and safety across the New York City public school student transportation system. And then our other one is a resolution on use of AI in K through 12 in public schools. The first one about public school buses. There is a big fight going on to make sure that our children have adequate buses that have everything that they need, that get the children to school in a timely fashion. On the other side, for our bus drivers, there is a fight to make sure that they get all of the benefits that they deserve and that they don't be fired to hire new people who don't have tenure and can't get those same benefits. I got some friendly amendments, and the friendly amendments that I was going to accept, I have accepted. If anyone has any questions or any concerns, please let me know.
I have my hand raised.
Go ahead,
Go
Liz.
ahead.
So 2 things. One, for anybody who is in a position to vote on this, for all of the members of the board, if you are not familiar with the living hell that is pupil transportation, pupil personnel, whatever they call that office, you are very lucky. It is, I do not have polite language to characterize how bad it is. So I would urge you to support this resolution because it's just outrageous what this city, what the Department of Education makes students and their families put up with. It's just wrong. My only suggestion on the resolution is in the second resolution, the be it resolved says, be it resolved that Community Board 12 Manhattan calls on Mayor Mamdani and the Chancellor to, and then it lists a bunch of things. So as a board, our resolutions, we can resolve that the board is going to do something or is going to ask or demand or request or urge that somebody else do something. But we cannot, as a board, resolve that somebody else do something. We just don't have that authority. So I would respectfully request that all of the resolves in the reso on busing be changed to say things like, be it resolved that Community Board 12 Manhattan urge whatever to do whatever, rather than resolved that this office take whatever is the action that we would like them to take.
So I understand you wanted to say that we call upon those actions?
Yeah, we can't
Okay.
have a
No,
resolve.
that part,
Yeah.
yeah, I understand.
I don't have any substantive issues with the reso. It's great reso. All of the things that it's asking us to urge this city agency to do are appropriate. The fact that they need to be asked this stuff is appalling. We should all be very angry about this. We can't make them do things. We can only urge them to do things. Or demand, or like pick a word. I don't care what the word is. That's not my call.
Okay, any other questions or comments for Tanisha on this resolution? And then Tanisha, I know you have another one.
Yeah, it's a resolution on use of AI in K through 12 public schools. We would like more transparency. We would like there to be, a working group to put input into it. We're not saying, me and my committee discussed it, and we're not saying that we want AI to halt, because, we still need our children to understand AI and to use it in some capacity, but there needs to be more oversight. So that's what that resolution is about. Any questions, concerns, or comments? Great, thank you.
Thank you, Tanisha. All right, we'll turn that over now to Health and Environment. Steve, for your two resolutions.
All right, thank you. All right, the first one, commends the acting health commissioner, Dr. Michelle Morse, for quickly taking a position in support of protecting the health of our children by ignoring the crazy dictate that came from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and from Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That would say that children across the nation should not be vaccinated for 6 diseases. And what she did very quickly was to come out with a statement denouncing this action, saying it will have deadly consequences that puts the health and well-being of children and their families at risk. And our committee felt that we should acknowledge the leadership role that she took here, and the fact that she put the city firmly in support of protecting the health of our children. Our city health department has been known for years for our forward-looking stance and the work we've done supporting children's health. And this is just one more example. Our resolution calls upon all local health providers to continue to provide all the vaccines previously recommended by the CDC, and urges all of our elected officials to oppose this change in the federal government's vaccine recommendations, and to make sure that no action is taken against New York City for continuing its policy in support of vaccinations. Should I pause here or just go on to the next one?
No, you should take questions for this one if there are any. Okay, I don't see any, so you can proceed.
Okay, so the next one is in support of pending state legislation for the what's known as the Packaging Reduction and Recycling Infrastructure Act. This legislation is supported by all 3 of our state legislators: State Senator Jackson, Assemblymember De Los Santos, Assemblymember Taylor. It would reduce plastic packaging. I think we all know that plastic is it has caused a serious pollution, including litter. And it contains, in some cases, toxic chemicals. Is a problem with pollution not only on land but also in the oceans, and is just an all-around problem. So this bill would reduce plastic packaging by 30% gradually over the next 12 years. It would require 75% of the remaining packaging to be reused and or recycled by 2052, with a minimum of 20% being reused. Would save tax dollars by requiring companies to pay modest fees on packaging that encourage the packaging to be reduced or designed for reuse and recyclability. It would require these packaging fees to provide local taxpayer relief by paying local government the cost of recycling and disposal of single-use packaging, and to provide grants supporting reuse and refill projects. So it's a pretty basic resolution in which we urge the state legislature to pass and Governor Kathy Hochul to sign into law S1464/A1749, the proposed Packaging Reduction and Recycling Infrastructure Act, during the current legislative session.
I see one hand for you. I'll see if you want to take it away.
Yeah, I just want to mention, I just put an article that was published in Nature journal about micro, plastic. There are now studies that already found that they found microplastic in our brain. So that's the plastic recycling, some of it get to the oceans. And those of us that eat fish or they end up getting some of the plastic that the fish consume. So this is a very important resolution. And I urge everyone to vote for it. Thank you.
In the interest of full disclosure, OC is the vice chair of my committee.
Sorry, I muted me. Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments for Steve? Okay, seeing none, we'll now proceed to cannabis, which I believe will be presented by Hector if he's online.
Yes, correct. Can you hear me there?
We can hear you.
Wonderful. How's it going, everyone? This month we reviewed the application Times Square Culture. Our chair was not present, nor was the applicant present. We did have a number of questions for the applicant in which it was presented at the executive meeting. And give me 1 second. Yes, it was pushed at the executive meeting in which it got 8 motions, which carried, and it was only 2 abstentions. And just to note that this is a render of a non-binding opinion to the Office of Cannabis Management, as well as just to note that this location is at 4930 Broadway Avenue, which is on the southeast corner of 207th and Broadway Street. However, one thing I would also like to note is back in October, we did have another application for Happiness, which was at 4925 Broadway, which is directly across the street. And depending on the status of this vote today, the previous applicant from October will have to reappear before OCM again, as well as our community board. And circling back to the actual applicant that we're voting on today, he was present for the executive committee, which he answered I believe it was 5+ questions that our committee generated, as well as some questions that the executive committee also wanted some clarification on. He also had his representative present. This is his first venture in the cannabis space. He has a number of businesses in Midtown in the coffee and consumer space that's retail facing. And I believe those are the high points of this application, and anybody else from the chair or anybody in the executive committee could add input as well, but those are essentially the high levels from this application. And I see we have some hands as well.
And before we move on to those, I think the point of clarification I want to make based off of what you just commented on is that with that other applicant that we had reviewed in October, It's my understanding that there is a queuing process that occurs at OCM, and it turns out that this applicant, who we are reviewing this month, was ahead of the October applicant, and therefore, in the eyes of OCM, this applicant has the, I think they call it jurisdictional right or vicinity rights to that area. And so what I believe Hector means by that other applicant, the one from October, would need to come back. He would need to come back once he has a new location, if he's choosing a different location in our district outside of that perimeter. Thanks, Hector. Steve and then Ozzy.
So on this last point, I'm really taken aback. The other guy from across the street is going to have to now find another location.
Yes, due to OCM rules and the queuing process that OCM has.
And
so while we did support the application at the location,
But
it's
I thought-
OCM that
I
had
thought-
the queuing process.
I thought he was already doing space. He was already renovating the space.
Well, I think that is something we could take away. I hope that's not the case, and that he's able to.
Because we ended
Yeah.
up voting in support after voting
Right.
after voting to put it off, because he made a plea to us that he was already invested in that space and was already spending money on it.
And I think that this is something that OCM is going to have to reckon with for sure.
All right,
OC,
so he's not going to stay at. There's no chance he's staying at 4925 Broadway.
to my understanding, no, Steve. OC, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. I mean, if the applicant was not at the scheduled meeting, why he's not coming back to the next meeting? Why did he go to the executive committee meeting? Because normally,
Yeah.
how we do with licensing, if the
Certainly.
applicant is not there, we give them an opportunity to come the following month. So what happened?
Allow me to answer that one. There are two reasons. First, the task force without me didn't reach quorum, and in the moment I didn't realize, sorry, I had a timer going. I didn't realize that I counted towards quorum. But secondarily, over email, the applicant did receive the wrong meeting link. He was going to attend, he planned to attend, but the Zoom link that he received from our office, it turned out, was the youth and education link, and so he didn't have the direct access. So we did invite him back in executive since he did submit a complete application.
Got it. Thank you.
Jay?
I'm just trying to, where exactly is the location?
The location that we're voting on tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Times Square Culture. It's going to be at 4930 Broadway. It's going to be in the Inwood neighborhood of our area. It's on the southeast corner, next to the train station exit / entrance.
At 207th Street.
Correct. Along Broadway.
Okay, thank you. And then, I mean, I guess to help answer the question that Steve had, it's just like a mismanagement of OCM, and so like the people who are doing these businesses are losing money regardless. And this is another example of, regardless if it's someone who's trying to open up a business, they have to deal with these regulations that OCM set up.
Thanks, Jay. Liz?
Yeah, it's so this location is the location that's been a couple of failed restaurants right at the corner.
Yes.
It's been a bodega historically. The
been a
failed
bodega.
location is on the actual corner. The corner is the one that had multiple restaurants there over the course of the past, I believe, 6 years. However, it's the establishment, one storefront south, I believe, of the corner.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you very much.
Correct. It's directly in front of the entrance of the A train.
I see. Okay.
Okay. I think those are all the questions for cannabis, but Hector, I believe you're also presenting the licensing resolutions. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Great. Take it away.
Wonderful. So, again, this month we had a total of a bit over 10, about 10 resolutions, 4 of which was a renewal on premise, and we had no objection to the 4 of them. We also had 1 corporate change in which we also had no objection. We had 2 new on-premise liquor license come before our committee, in which both of them received an objection from our committee. One of which was Mob Casino, which is at 3805 10th Avenue, which is directly across the street from Dyckman Park. And that was because of one of their entrances leads directly in front of a Catholic school / church. And the second application that we chose to object was El Antigo Civisco Corp, which is at 125 Nagel, and that was due to the fact that it was not 8-day compliant, and the what was it? The representative did state that it is not SLA requirements to be ADA compliant. However, during our conversation with the SLA this month as well, the SLA is looking for us to serve as those who provide input for things that fall out of the purview of the SLA. Additionally, we had 5 sidewalk cafe / dining out applications, in which 2 of them did not receive our favor because the representative was not in attendance. And I'm happy to answer any question for any of these applications. However, there was copious notes taken, so feel free to address the minutes for any questions that you may have. And also, just to note, there was some applications that did withdraw from the application process that may be interesting. So if you definitely want to have an input for some establishments that have not been in operation with a large capacity, please feel free to join us next month.
Liz, go ahead.
2 things. One, I absolutely love the fact that we are denying, that we're issuing an objection just because they don't have an ADA compliant bathroom. It is my view of things that somewhere out in the cosmos, Edith Prentice is very happy that she taught us well. My other comment, in addition to thanking you all for your work, I used to sit on this committee, it's a lot, is I don't know why Salento did not show up at the meeting. I'm not sure what the issue was, but I personally am going to vote against this reso and in favor of the establishment. I frequent them frequently. I find them to be a good establishment with really good food and to be respectful, decent neighbors. And when they had a sidewalk cafe, they ran it well. So I personally would support this business with no disrespect to your usual requirement that people should show up to these things.
Right. Of course. And hopefully they still have time, because I haven't seen anybody dining out these past couple of weeks, so I'm sure they
I
have
don't know
ample
why
time.
not.
Okay, Steve, you have a question?
Well, really, once again, Liz has stolen my comments. I'm very reluctant to support Resolution 18. Salento has a citywide reputation. Really, I've seen it written up in magazines as a great place, and again, it has a history of already having a sidewalk cafe, and it's in a location where I think we would want to promote something like that. And it's a kind of establishment I think we want to encourage. So I'm going to join Liz in opposing that resolution.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
Great. Thank you, Steve. Indiana?
I also am going to oppose that resolution. I live about 15 seconds from Salento, and they have always been very clean, very kind, very accommodating in terms of my wheelchair and accessibility. and just I've seen them really. They know almost everyone who comes in and buys their products and grabs food. So I really support them, and I'm going to oppose that reso and encourage the board to do so as well.
Thank you, Indiana. Wayne?
Two things. I certainly echo Liz's comment about the committee objecting to the facility that, said they're not required to be ADA compliant. I would think it's different if, they pointed out how they could not achieve ADA compliance. And there are some existing buildings where that's just difficult, but to simply say they're not required, I don't think is at all an acceptable answer. So applauds to the committee for that. And on the issue of Salento, I, support the licensing committee's insistence on consistency. So whether we know, the applicant or not, whatever their issue is, if we say we're going to do something for one, we should be consistent so that we do not give the impression that there's favoritism. People can clearly vote how they choose, but as I said, I support the committee's commitment to consistency.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Wayne.
That's Wayne, not Jay.
Thank you, Wayne.
I see OC and Heidi, and then we're going to close it so we can move on to the roll call. OC, go ahead.
Yeah, did you advise applicant number 18 that they can and should come to the meeting next month? Because this is how licensing normally do that, or used to do it anyway. Because there is no show, as like Wayne mentioned already. I don't have to repeat what Wayne said. I think I like the consistency, and they can come back. They can come back if, as many time as they choose. Did you advise them of that?
Correct. I'll defer to Anthony, but to my understanding, I'm not on the back end of the application management process, so I'll have to defer to Anthony on that one.
Yeah. So the way it works, in order to get added to the agenda, you need to submit an application to our office by a deadline. And if you're on the agenda but not present to withdraw yourself from the agenda, then the committee does have to vote on the matter. And so it is the process of licensing. Typically, if you don't show up for certain applications, that the licensing committee tends to vote no.
This was not my question. I'm sorry. What my question
But
was.
they can't re-add themselves to an agenda if we've already voted on it. They have to be voted on if you're on the agenda. Now, every applicant has an opportunity to withdraw prior to the vote taking place.
Right.
But that did not occur.
Right. No, I understand. And my question was if anyone or maybe the office advised the applicant that wasn't there after the meeting that they should apply or can apply for the next month. That's the question.
They can't apply next month.
So the vote still takes place though, and so the position of this
Right.
board, if let's say this board votes in favor of the recommendation,
Understood.
would be to oppose. Now, if they submitted an application again, I guess theoretically that would nullify the decision. But
Yeah.
we typically have a timeline that we have to submit to
I
the
understand
SLA,
that,
and so
but they can submit it again if they choose to do that. They can absolutely submit it for next month.
yeah, it hasn't been our practice to advise them on that, but typically they can. I mean, it would be a lot for the office to have to reach out to every applicant we vote no on for not showing up and then advise them to have a reversal done of the board's decision the following month. Heidi, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to echo Wayne's point about consistency. If I remember correctly, just in recent history in the past couple of months, Salento previously had an application where there was some kind of deficiency with the materials that needed to be submitted or appearance at a meeting, and similar points were made about how this is a beloved restaurant in the community. And I think, we all have our favorite haunts that we like, but I think it is important to set a precedent that just because your food is delicious doesn't mean that you can't not show your face. We have these rules for a reason, and I would encourage us to think about that when voting. Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi. I did say I was closing after Heidi. So Leo, Steve.
Just one point on clarification. So they can reapply if we reject their application at the board. Just a reminder, DOT does not require the merchant to attend the public hearing. When it comes to dining out applications specifically, we're just providing comment as a board. So we provided comments from the board office as a board. That gets forwarded to DOT. They have a hearing, a public hearing. So again, people can feel free to attend. They can attend. I've attended them myself. And then DOT makes that final approval or final recommendation of the application. So we're just giving a comment. So just because we mention it here, we vote on it, doesn't necessarily mean the DOT. They'll consider what the board has to say, but won't make that decision based on our resolution, if that makes sense. On the
Thank you,
dining
Leo.
applications only.
Thanks for your point of information. Steve, was it a point?
No, it's a very quick question. Are we sure that they knew about the meeting?
Yes. For licensing this month, I confirm that across all applicants. All right, I think that takes us to the end of our resolution discussion. So we will now proceed to the roll call. I'm going to bring up my screen just to remind folks of what our rules are for roll call before I turn it over to Alexis. Hope you all can see that. We're doing the same as we always have done. The biggest difference here, as you probably have already could tell, is that all of the resolutions are numbered now. So nothing has changed from the agenda that I sent late last week. So when you vote, please use the order that is on your agenda. And with that, I will turn it over to Alexis. Is Alexis still on?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just organizing my roll call here.
No problem.
Liz?
Yeah, just boss, what do you want me to do here? Also take the roll so that we can compare notes, or do you want me to just sit here
Hey,
and look pretty?
rock on. I love it.
Okay. I got you.
All right. And away we go, kids. Okay. Jumirna Alcober Ramirez.
Good evening. I'd like to abstain on number 8 and number 18. Yes to the rest.
Abstain on 8 and 18 and yes to the rest. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Richard Allman.
I want to pass for the moment. The problem's on my end that I left the agenda on my other desk. If it were possible to post the list of resolutions on the screen, I would come back to voting as quickly as possible.
Okay, well, I will have somebody else answer that in terms of posting the
I
resolution on
can.
the screen.
There's so many that it's not going to look great. I've tried, but we'll proceed.
Come back to me at the end, please.
Yes.
Thank you, Richard.
Mary Anderson.
Yes to all.
Mary Anderson, yes to all. Okay. Jay Baez.
Yes to all.
Jay Baez, yes to all. Jacob Banis.
Yes to all. Thank you.
Welcome. Jacob Banis, yes to all. Radia Barnes.
Yes to all.
Radia Barnes, yes to all. James Berlin. Jim
I'm
Berlin.
working on it. There we are. I'll vote no on number 18 and yes to the rest.
So no on number 18 and yes to the rest.
Correct.
Thank you. John Benitez.
Hi, everyone. I'll say yes to all.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not seeing everybody on screen, so I'm sorry. John Benitez, you said yes to all, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Wayne Benjamin?
Yes to all.
Wayne Benjamin, yes to all. Hector Bonilla?
Hello, Alexis. Hello. I'm gonna abstain on number 8, the task force resolution, and I'll say yes to the rest of the resolutions on the application. Thank you, Alexis.
Okay, so you're abstaining on 8 and yes to the rest.
That's correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Eleazar Bueno? I know he was trying to get on earlier. I don't know if he made it. Okay. Daryl Cochran?
Yes to all.
Darrell Cochran, yes to all. See, you got saved. You didn't have to bring me snacks.
I'm
Darley,
eating Swedish fish now.
hate you. Darley Corneal? Darley? Okay. Absent. Nobles Crawford? Okay, not here. Okay, absent.
I have a question.
Who has a question?
Liz, is Nobles just no longer the head of the task force, but he's still on the board?
Correct. Well, the task force has been dissolved.
Got it. But
Um,
he's okay.
But
Thank
he is still an appointed member of the board.
Fantastic.
Okay. Robin Cruz?
Yes to all.
Robin Cruz, yes to all. Stefan De Jesus?
As a New York City Department of Transportation employee, I have a conflict on Resos 3 and 16 through 20. So that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes to the rest.
16 through, I'm sorry, 4 and 16 through 20, conflict of interest due to DOT.
It was 3 and 16 through 20.
3 and 16 through 20. That's what I meant. Thank you. Sorry, I did have it in the right space, just not didn't say
No
the right
worries.
word. 3, 16 to 20, conflict of interest, yes to the rest.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine Diaz. Catherine?
She may have stepped away.
Okay.
You can continue.
Thank you. Noemi Diaz?
No, I'm gonna abstain in number 8 and no on number 18 and yes to the rest.
Okay, so abstain on 8, no on 18, yes to the rest. Oops, put you in the wrong spot. Sorry. Give me a second here. I don't know how we did this during the pandemic, folks. Really don't. Thank you for your patience. So, okay, Domingo Estevez? Domingo? No? Not here? Okay. Erwin Fernandez?
Hello.
Hello.
Abstain on 8, no on 18, no on 19, yes to the rest.
Abstain on 8, no on 18, yes to the rest.
No on 18 and 19.
No on 18 and 19.
And then yes to the rest.
Abstain on 8, no on 18, no on 19, yes to the rest. Correct? Did I
Got
get
it.
that right?
Thank you. Yes, you
Second
did.
time? Sorry.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Sonia Figueroa Rielo? Sonia? Sonia's not here? Okay, thought she was. Okay. Jonathan Frometta?
Yes to all. Thank
Jonathan
you.
Frometta, yes to all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Tanisha Grant? Tanisha?
Yes. So no on 8
No on 8.
and yes to the rest.
Okay, so Tanisha, you are no on 8 and yes to the rest. Heidi Guzman?
I'm not voting on 3, 16 through 20 due to conflict of interest. I work at the New York City Department of Transportation. I am abstaining on 8. Yes to the rest.
Okay, so conflict of interest on 3 and 16 through 20, abstaining on 8 and yes to the rest, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, darling. Jody Herson?
Yes to all.
Jody Herson, yes to all. Leo Jimenez?
Yeah, Alexis, I'm abstaining on 8, 18, and 19, and yes to the
Abstaining
rest.
on 8,
18 and 19,
18 and 19, and yes to the rest.
the rest.
So Leo abstaining on 8, 18, and 19, yes to the rest. OC Kaminer?
Abstain on 8, yes to the rest.
Okay, abstain on 8 and yes to the rest. Thank you. Alexis Marnell, me. Okay, I am abstaining on 8 and yes to the rest. Tracy McNeil.
I'm abstaining on 8. I'm abstaining on 18 and yes to the rest.
Okay, Tracy McNeil, abstaining on 8 and 18 and yes to the rest. Isidro is absent today?
No,
Correct?
it says he's excused.
Oh, okay, thank you. I did not get that, so thank you. Anne Magus?
I'm voting no on 18 and yes to the rest.
So Anne is no on 18 and yes to the rest.
Right.
Thank you. Johannes Montano? Johannes?
Yes. Hello, sorry. Abstain from 8, 18, and 19. Yes to the rest.
So abstain on 8 and 18 and 19?
Yes. And yes to the
Yes
rest.
to the rest. Okay, thank you. So abstain on 8, 18, and 19, yes to the rest. Indiana Porta.
I abstain on 8 and I vote no on 18 and 19 and yes to the rest.
No on 18 and 19, abstaining on 8, yes to the rest.
Correct.
Liz Ritter.
I'm still not clear on what changes were made to the reso on buses, and if it still has the language where we're resolving that somebody else is going to do something.
So the language will be adjusted to say that Community Board 12 Manhattan supports the recommendations put forth in this resolution, citing the CPAC resolution, and then it will enumerate those items.
Okay. In that case, I am voting no on 18. Wait a minute, I made a note. I'm voting no on 18. I'm not voting on 9, 12, and 16, as all 3 of those donated to a recent fundraiser or recent fundraisers for 2 different organizations on which I'm on the board, and yes to the rest.
Okay, so Liz, conflict of interest on 9, 12, and 17?
Correct.
No on 19 and yes to the rest.
No, 9, 12, and 16.
9, 12, and 16. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, 9, 12, 16, and 20. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
So 9, 12, 16, and okay, I'm going to repeat this in a second. Conflict of interest on 9, 12, 16, and 20, and yes to the rest.
No on 18.
And no on 18. Sorry.
And yes to the rest.
Let me just say that again. Conflict of interest on 9, 12, 16, and 20. No on 18, yes to the rest.
Correct.
Thank you. Bruce Robertson.
Sadly, this is my last vote after 7 years on the community board. Humbly and wonderfully experienced, I vote yes to all. But I will see you back on Monday because I want to be back on traffic and transportation. You ain't got rid of me yet. Thank you all. You're all
Great
wonderful. I
having you,
love you.
Bruce. It's great having you, Bruce. Glad you're still on board.
Okay, Steve Simon.
I'm going to be inconsistent in my usual support for consistency. I'm voting no on 18 and yes on everything else.
I'm sorry, Steve, you're breaking up. No on 18?
And yes on everything else.
So I'm sorry, no on 18 and yes to the rest, correct?
Yeah. And Bruce, it looks like you belong in a museum.
Melissa
Hispanic-
Sims. Melissa Sims.
Steve, if you knew
Melissa Sims.
It's Hispanic Society. You know it, Steve.
This is okay, out of order. This was Melissa's turn to vote.
You
I'm
can't
not gonna-
fire. You can't fire me.
I know I can't, but I can still be a annoying Greek old lady. So
Okay, my turn. No to 8, yes to the rest.
So Melissa, no to 8 and yes to the rest.
Yep.
Okay. And then just again, please, no cross talking when it's somebody's turn to vote. Please give them the respect that they are giving you. Thank you. Eton Steinbaum,
Abstain on 8, yes to the rest.
abstain on 8 and yes to the rest. And Eton, I was neglectful. I did not thank you for your brilliant notes for Parks and Culture this past month. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna miss you. Lizette Tavares,
Hi, abstaining on 8, no on 14, 15, 18, and 19, and yes to the rest.
so can you give me the no is on 14?
15,
Mm-hmm.
18, and 19, and abstaining on 8.
Thank you. So no, okay, abstain on 8, no 2. Sorry, it's just a little hard to read this here. No on 14, 15, 18, and 19, and yes to the rest.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carlin Egbu?
Yes to all.
Carlin Egbu, yes to all. Anthony Viola?
Yes to all.
Anthony Viola, yes to all. Crystal Woodley? Crystal Woodley?
Hi, I'm going to say no to 8 and yes to the rest.
Crystal Woodley, no to 8 and yes to the rest. Okay, now I'll go back up. Richard, are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Abstain on 8. Abstain on 8 and 18, yes to the rest.
Abstain on 8 and 18 and yes to the rest.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We said Darley was absent. Nobles is absent. Catherine Diaz, you back? Catherine?
I don't believe she's back. Alexis, is Robin Cruz not on your list? Did he vote?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he
Okay.
voted yes
Yeah.
to all.
Yes.
Oh, apologies. Okay.
So Catherine, okay. Oh, and Sonia. Because I thought she was on, and I guess. Okay. All right, so Catherine and Sonia were absent at time of roll call. Okay, that's it.
Great. Thank you so much, Alexis. Is there any old business?
Alexis, you had 36 people who were present, but 2 people who were not present for roll call. So a
Yes.
total of 34 people. All of the votes should add to 34.
Yeah, I will figure that. It's not tallying right on here, so I have to figure that out.
Great.
Cool.
Thank you both. Any new business?
I will be forwarding flyer. We finally got confirmation from the various running clubs in our district to have a joint recruitment event. We reached out to them because they have a huge network. They know our streets very well, and you get all wakes of life and careers in the groups that meet up. So we're inviting them to meet us at a local spot, Fito near Dykeman. I believe they're on between Arden and Thayer and Broadway for February 12th. Again, the information will be sent out tomorrow, and that hopefully will go out this week by the office.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks. Thanks.
No, I'm saying because I'm writing the minutes. I'm just talking to myself. Sorry, I'll
You're
mute
good, Alexis.
myself.
Lizette?
Hey guys, I hope you're all staying warm. I know that we just got a huge something, and I wanted to, I guess, bring up some of the concerns that I've seen, not only locally, but that I've heard throughout our entire district and community. The crosswalks have not been cleared, like me crossing just one block from one block to another. It's been extremely difficult. Um, Also, like I noticed that a lot of businesses, or let's say individual landlords, have done a good job cleaning up. But anything that's city related, I guess I'm trying to find out what committee or department we should kind of start contacting and get more information from. Because I feel like not only the cleanup, but salt, like I didn't see anything done prior to or immediately after to make any type of difference with what we're, dealing with every day.
Let's connect offline. I actually reached out to both sanitation and DOT. Actually, the office, Octavia, who was from Uptown Voices, was on earlier, but he had put something on social media. It got to me. I reached out to the office. We went through DOT and sanitation, and within hours, it was cleared up. So any locations, reach out. And
There's a
we'll
lot that I've seen. Okay. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Leo. So it would be you. I didn't know what committee, so it would be
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Leo.
No problem.
Thanks. Is that Indiana?
About that. Mine is actually along the same lines. I was connecting with other women in various uptown, Facebook groups, and they were also wheelchair users, like I am. And so we noticed that while the sidewalks, a lot of them, at least where we live, were clearing or were being cleared, the like curb cuts were not being cleared. And so, I was just curious to see like if that was something that we could either write a reso about, or it sounds like Leo has been in touch with folks at the relevant city agencies, but just want to like elevate that, I think, one more time, that several other wheelchair users uptown kind of all had the same issue where the sidewalk was clear, but not the curb cuts. And then also related, in the news, I saw that a lot of the bus stops, they were not wheelchair accessible. There's not like a place where the ramp that comes out of the bus for wheelchairs to get on could, kind of unfold. And so just another related consideration. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Indiana.
yeah.
I'm actually
Request and we'll take care of it. We'll forward
Yep.
it. Sorry.
Thanks. I'm going to also put in the chat a link to DSNY's website. They're actually currently looking for emergency snow shovelers and offering pay for that service. So if you know someone who's willing to support DSNY's efforts to help clear some of the snow, feel free to use that resource. Jim?
Yeah, I just want to comment on the same issue that was just brought up by the two previous speakers, because at my age, things are harder to, well, I'm not, disabled or anything, but these crosswalks and the sense I get, and Leo obviously has already done some legwork on this, but I think it's got to be nailed down. Um, the same thing, the crosswalks, the sidewalks are fine because the landlords are responsible. The streets are fine because the snowplows do it, and the crosswalks are like hell on earth. They're impossible. And so the question is, who is responsible for this? I would think because it's in the street, it's, the Department of Sanitation, and it's not clear to me whether they actually have a mechanism, for clearing the crosswalks. But it's critically important because, people are going to fall there, or um, was Indiana pointed out, people with wheelchairs just cannot get across, and it's terrible. So, um, and I'm also on the Traffic and Transportation Committee, so I would urge again Leo to get some legwork, and maybe we can pass a resolution, as someone mentioned, that the Department of Sanitation has to create a mechanism to make sure crosswalks are cleared if they're responsible for them, which again I think they are, which might mean, well, let me just and then I'll stop. In the old days, there were actually people walking around with shovels. And, they may just need to do that, or, because again, if there's no mechanism for doing this, whether they're responsible or not, it's not going to get done. And, it makes life difficult for all kinds of people, baby carriages in addition. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Jim. One other note I'll have, because this reminds me of it, is that the district service cabinet meeting is moving forward, now meeting the second Monday of each month. So the next meeting will be February 9th. The new superintendent from DSNY has been very active in the community and he attends every single one of those. So in addition to all the things that Leo had mentioned, we'll also bring it up at that meeting as well. Steve, go ahead.
Well, Anthony, you mentioned how sanitation is hiring people to do shoveling, and it was my understanding that the purpose of that is to have people clearing the curbs, the crosswalks, and the bus stops. So, did I understand from Leo that he's already been talking to sanitation, or maybe if not, then one of us should call up the sanitation superintendent tomorrow, not wait for the cabinet meeting, and urge him to make sure that people being hired are being deployed at the crosswalks and at the bus stops.
And I wasn't insinuating I would wait until the district service cabinet. I was just stating that that's another forum where we can mention it, but we'll certainly talk to him on the side. I see a lot of hands. I'm going to stop it out of after Indiana, and then we'll move to adjournment.
Well, I wanted a chance.
I have an announcement.
Yeah, I have an announcement as well.
Haven't
That's
spoken
okay. I'll put my hand down.
Okay. So the agenda as adopted has old business, new business, and adjournment. If you have an announcement and it's considered new business, then you may raise your hand. I haven't seen any hands, so I'd like to cut it off.
Well, mine is raised.
Yes, you can go ahead, Steve. And then after Richard, we're going to proceed to adjournment.
All right, very good. Thank you. I just want to announce that the Parks Department is holding an open house in the Manhattan Recreation Centers Sunday, February 15th to the 21st. The people who are not currently members of our recreation centers, and that would include the Highbridge and J. Hood Wright centers, have an opportunity to go in, try out the fitness equipment, check out sports programs, fitness programs, visit the media labs, and just to see what's available at those rec centers. So again, it's Sunday, February the 15th through Saturday, February 21st. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Richard?
Real quickly, my comment was also on crosswalks to say that whatever we do, it's also an NYPD issue. This morning, I ran into multiple crosswalks that had been shoveled, but that illegal parkers were blocking. And it took some considerable detours on my part to get to the sidewalks.
Thank you, Richard. That brings us to the conclusion of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Please
Great,
don't
it is-
close the meeting yet, though, because I'm putting my tally into the chat, and if you close the meeting, that'll end.
You mean
But-
the Zoom? Got it. But
Yeah.
I'm officially closing the meeting at 9:32, so everyone else can leave, and I'll
Who
leave the Zoom
seconded the
running.
motion? I did not hear it. Who seconded the
second.
motion? Who's aye?
Let's say
Raul
Noemi
Fernandez.
Diaz.
Thank you.
Let's say, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks, Chair. Good night.
Good night.
Right.
Good night, everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Take care.
Good night, everybody.
night.
Alexis, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I just gave you